The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
This is the main event.
This is your main event, Mark's Podcast. I am your first host, lifelong wrestling fan, former radio guy, cat dad, and we're your podcast hookup. Holler if you hear us. I am Troy. And with me, as always, is the main event collector and figure hunting warrior. He is the WCW watcher of classic wrestling and the filthy animal to my natural born thriller. It's Greg. What's up, Greg?
Are you above average?
Yes, I am. I'm above average, and you want me to let you speak on this.
That was horrible. I was laughing so hard at that.
I liked I liked when Mike Sanders was mocking him like during the backstage thing. I was
Yeah,
like,
that's what I meant.
yeah, I was like, okay. At first, I didn't know what he was getting at, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And then freaking Conan came out and said the same damn stuff.
It's like he just endorsed it.
Right. Like he steered right into it. I'm like, he just mocked you for this, and you're like, you know what? Whatever. Like, I don't get, like, he was calling people raspberries and cranberries. I'm like, what? Like,
To this day, I don't even know what that means.
right. I mean, I
Is
guess
it like
it's
a derogatory thing, like a
calling
for
people
white people,
fruits.
or is it homophobia?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I could think of is calling people fruits, because he did have a lot of, like, homophobic jokes and slurs and his stuff. Because remember
Well,
that
on live
one...
TV, he told Lex Luger to toss a salad, so...
Right. You also told somebody, or you also said he told somebody, it might have been Lex Luger again. He said, get on your knees and peel my potatoes or something like that.
Yeah, it was the same promo. Pull my potatoes and toss my salad.
I'm afraid to know what the hell peel my potatoes is. I mean, I can assume.
I'm not looking it up, so...
Yeah. Man. Let's see. Peel my potatoes, Urban Dictionary, to lick. Oh, yeah, it's exactly what I thought it was. Yeah.
What a creep.
It involves a mouth and potatoes. Yeah, but not potatoes. You know what I mean? God. Anyway, yeah, Conan's a freak, dude. Either way, well, they really are the filthy animals.
Anybody that has a podcast with Disco Inferno is a freak to me.
That is correct. Well, either way, but we actually have a lot to talk about today. It's another WCW in 2000 podcast, so you can assume, you know. I will say, you had told me before I went into this that I would probably be pleasantly surprised. I didn't love this show, but as a WCW in 2000 show, I didn't hate it.
There's some good stuff on it.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Yeah, it had some decent matches on here. There were like two that weren't really overbooked, so you know, you can get into that. But
The fact that there's probably like 9 matches or so on this card, and he said there are 2 that aren't overbooked. That's not good. But
yeah, right. There's literally 10 matches on the card. 2 of them, there's not a bunch of BS. Well, one of them, there's a little BS in it, but I don't know. Every match had to have stipulations, bro.
wow.
And run-ins
So I was
and
watching
weapons.
I was watching this with a mutual friend, right? And we're like, is Russo doing this? And we weren't even sure until he showed up.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. That's what
Like,
I literally said that.
In my head, I thought he left that New Blood Rising, but I guess, and then I forgot. No, it was later because I was at that stupid San Francisco 49er match,
Oh man.
which was his last show ever.
Thanks for reminding me of that.
That's a
Asshole.
bragging point for me.
Yeah. Well, that was another thing. Like, I thought the same thing as you did, because like I was about halfway through the show, and I thought, wow, maybe Russo's gone, and this is like the first show under the new regime.
So
then, like
everything
you
we said about Saturday Night Collision versus Dynamite.
Yeah, right.
This is going pretty well. Must not be him.
And then, well, surprise.
Yeah.
Or as the Impractical Jokers would say. Yeah. So, either way. But we have a lot to get into today with the news and notes and the show itself. Like I said, there are 10 effing matches on a 2.5 hour show. What is this? Dark? Wait, no, that would be 20. But man,
yeah, and that would only be an hour, by the way.
Yeah, right. Can you imagine if Tony Khan had 2.5 hours for Dark? There would have been like 100 matches on that show.
I don't know who in their right mind would watch 2 hours of Dark.
Crazy people? Freakazoids? I don't know. Do the Freakazoids even watch Dark?
I used to do some like 100,000 views, so I assume.
Yeah, some really bored ass people.
Honest to God, the only Dark I ever watched was when I was at the Cow Palace, and they didn't even really watch that.
Same
Me
here.
and our mutual friend, we got up and went to the bathroom, got water, and went to the merch stand. Like, hey, this is just Dark.
Yeah, I went, I sat down. Like I said, I got there about halfway through it. We sat there, we watched like a match, and then I looked over at my friend and was like, so do you want to go to concessions or something? And of course he was like, nah, I'm good. And then Dynamite starts. He's like, I think I want to go to concessions. And I was like, of course you effing do. Yeah, I'm like, bye. It's like, I gave you the chance, dude. Like, it's like a kid. It's like, you got to go to the bathroom? No, I'm good. And you get it like 5 minutes down the road. I got to pee. It's like, I gave you the chance. Now you sit there and hold it. But,
my friend's 10-year-old kid doesn't even do that.
Yeah. Hey, my best advice that I can give for life is don't go to the bathroom when you have to. Go to the bathroom when you are able to. So don't wait till you have to go. Go wherever you can.
Push it out.
Yeah. But anyway, before we get into all the news and notes that we got today, I do want to thank the sponsors of the podcast, Mahler Bros Golf. Today's episode is sponsored by Mahler Bros Golf. We all want to look good on the golf course, but it often comes at the expense of feeling good. Mahler Bros Golf has polos that look good and feel good. With their lightweight and stretchy material that hugs your body, you will feel cool while looking just as cool. Their polos are guaranteed to make you look better, but it's up to you to golf better. On a hot summer day at the golf course, there's no polo that you would rather wear than Mahler Bros Golf signature polos. Mahler Bros Golf has a large catalog of polos with designs for those who want a loud design and others for those who want a subtle and sleek-looking design. They also have fun t-shirts, hats, tumblers, and so much more to make your golfing experience better. Use code BELLYUP at MahlerBros.com for 15% off. Spring and summer are just around the corner, so you know when you're out golfing and the sun's beating down and you just want to take your shirt off because of the heat. Well, these polos almost feel like you aren't wearing one at all. That's great for beating the heat, because I don't know about you, but even here in the Midwest, our summers get blazing hot. So you don't want to give up your golfing time because it's just a little too warm outside. Don't wait to try out your new favorite golf apparel. Upgrade your golf attire with Mahler Bros. Get 15% off at MahlerBros.com with code BELLYUP. That's 15% off at MAHLER Bros.com with code BELLYUP. Turn heads on the golf course or wherever you wear Mahler Bros polos. Mahler Bros Golf. Look good, feel good, play good. And now we're going to get into our first break. We're going to tell you about...
We are white. If you didn't know.
We're going to get into the break where we're telling you about some other great podcasts to listen to, as well as telling you about our awesome merchandise, if I do say so myself. We are officially heading into the fall months. So...
Thank God, I'm sick of the heat.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, my wife is always like, oh, I can't wait for fall. I love the fall. I'm like, I don't know. I like when it's hot and I can grill and stuff like that. But then again, sometimes it gets too hot where, like you say, it's too damn hot.
I live in California. Oh, man. What's from like 90 to 70. I'm getting sick from it.
Yeah, I've been there. That's why in Ohio we don't have spring. It goes straight from winter into like it's not snowing anymore, but there's like a lot of rain and it's freezing cold, but not like cold enough to turn it to snow. So it's just cold as crap and it rains all the time. And then all of a sudden it's like 80 degrees and hot as hell. Like, well, that wasn't much of a transition. Meanwhile, everybody's getting sick around the state. So anyway, but we're going to get into our break here. On the other end, we're diving into Fall Brawl.
Follow the Main Event Marks at facebook.com/Main Event Marks Pod, on Twitter at Main Event _Marks, and on Instagram at Main Event _Marks and at Main Event Collector.
By God, somebody's interrupting the Main Event Marks. Sit down, JR. It's just me, Kyle Sullivan, aka Shaggy Von Doom, your host of Here in Puckburg on the Hockey Podcast Network. I know, a hockey show on the Main Event Marks. Who would have thought? This is an invasion angle. Somewhere between the Nexus and when WCW tried to invade WWE, somewhere in there. But I'm over here just telling you that one half of your tag team champions over here, Greg, he told his story of his love for the game of hockey over on my show. And if you'd like to hear that story, all you have to do is search Here in Puckburg wherever you get your podcasts or on YouTube. In the meantime, Shagamania's got to go run wild on some other hockey show. So, just remember, quote the Raven, nevermore, take your vitamins, say your prayers, and oh yeah!
Get ready to rumble! In your new Main Event Marks merchandise, we've got t-shirts, hoodies, masks, hats, stickers, pins, and much more on our Redbubble store. That's maineventmarks.redbubble.com. You can also pick up some awesome clothing items with the latest updated show graphics on our Bonfire store. That's bonfire.com/store/main-event-marks. Support your favorite retro wrestling podcast and pick up some cool swag on our Bonfire and Redbubble stores. That's maineventmarks.redbubble.com and bonfire.com/store/main-event-marks. The Main Event Marks are available wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube. Find all of our links on our link tree at linktr.ee/main-event-marks.
And we're back.
And we're back.
Do you like your coffee like you like your podcasts? Gimmick and politics free? Well, so do we here at the Main Event Marks, and so do the guys and gals at Coffee Brand Coffee, where they ditch the gimmicks. You see, when you buy your coffee from other roasters, chances are that they've been sitting on the shelf for heaven knows how long. Don't rob yourself of freshness. At Coffee Brand Coffee, they roast to order, ensuring that you get the freshest coffee possible. And as Greg will tell you, that's what counts. Coffee Brand Coffee offers bagged coffee as well as K-Cups, and for the non-coffee people, they offer a variety of teas and cocos. Just click on the link down in the podcast description or go to coffeebrandcoffee.com and use our promo code MAINEVENT, all one word, at checkout to get 5% off your order. That's coffeebrandcoffee.com, and use the promo code MAINEVENT to save 5% at checkout. I misspoke earlier, by the way. We're not getting into Fall Brawl yet. We're getting into the news and notes, obviously. But any longtime listeners of the show will know that I flubbed up. But either way, you cracking anything today?
One in post.
Yeah. There you go.
4 o'clock somewhere, right?
Yeah. What are you drinking now?
The Rock's energy drink.
Zoa.
Yeah.
I'm actually drinking Logan Paul's energy drink. I'm drinking Blue Raspberry Prime Energy. It's gluten-free, man.
Apparently loaded with caffeine.
200 milligrams of caffeine. I don't know. I'm told that's a lot. I don't know measurements. Yeah,
Does this have caffeine in it? No, it's got nothing in it. No sugar. No. Oh, it's got sodium.
That's
the worst thing.
How much caffeine is in a shot of espresso? 64 milligrams. So this is damn near 4 times.
I think I've already educated our listeners on this, but espresso doesn't have as much caffeine as like drip coffee.
Huh. My sister actually does drip coffee in her house. She bought the thing for it. And yeah, 95 milligrams of caffeine in just an average cup of coffee. So this is more than double that. Wow. Monster Energy doesn't even have as much caffeine as a cup of coffee. That's surprising. But I think they also have ginseng and stuff in Monster, so that's how they even it out. Yeah, this Prime Energy drink will smack you right in the face.
Where?
In the face! In the face!
There you go. But either way, diving into the news and notes.
Gee, what are these are going to be about?
Yeah, we actually have a lot of news out of ECW today. That's not our top stuff, but
Get my me, sir.
right. But
My Jewish father lawyer couldn't save my company.
Wow. Either way, we'll get into that after the WWF and WCW stuff here. But first,
That is correct.
Shut the fuck up, Dave.
Everything that guy just says is bullshit.
this past week had the closest head-to-head Monday night ratings all year. It still wasn't even close, as Raw won by nearly 3 full ratings points. But it ended up being a lower than normal rated night for Raw.
What was the date of that? I'll look this up.
This was the 17th, so the 10th, September 10th, 2000. Yeah, 2000.
Okay, so that one, the main event is Nash and Steiner with Booker T as the referee and Goldberg as the enforcer. Overbooked as hell.
Raw, the main event was Rock and Undertaker versus Kane and Chris Benoit, no DQ. Steve Blackman versus X-Pac for the hardcore title.
Yeah, I can see why they won.
Kurt Angle versus TNA in a handicap match. Al Snow versus Taz for the European title. Acolytes versus Bull Buchanan and Goodfather. Triple H versus Chris Jericho. Eddie Guerrero and China versus Too Cool. Lita versus Ivory. Man, there are like 500 matches.
Hey, over here we got Reno versus Big Vito in a stick ball and a pole match, dude.
Hell yeah. You mean to tell me that's not better than the Hardy Boys versus the Dudley Boys in a number 1 contender match to kick off the show? Come on now.
Oh, man.
But anyway.
Dude, look at this. Jeff Jarrett versus Miss Jones.
Hell yeah. God.
2000, bro. Jeff Jarrett's got to beat a woman, bro.
But
Like
yeah.
physically. Not in the match,
Yeah.
physically.
Wow. But getting back to this, though, it ended up being
Wow, it's way more fun.
it ended up being a lower than normal rated night for Raw, likely due to being preempted to a later time slot for the last 2 weeks, so they had no momentum going in. There was also a Monday Night Football game between the Jets and the Patriots, and if anybody knows, Patriots
It's not Tom Brady.
No, Drew Bledsoe at this time, but the Patriots are heating up. I don't remember what the Jets were doing at the time, but it is a rivalry game, so plus
Maybe the game where they tease the tuck, because I know that the tuck that happened in January happened against the Jets earlier in the year, or it was like a similar play. So it might have been this game actually.
Wow. Plus, Nitro's first hour doesn't have.
I just alienated one of our listeners, by the way.
Doesn't have competition from the Monday Night Football game. Basically, there were a lot of things working against Raw that night, and they still beat them by 3 ratings points. Meanwhile, Nitro did its highest opposed rating since January, likely due to return of Ric Flair and the wedding
Holy
angle.
crap. It's January. We're almost at the end. They're going back to the beginning.
Yep. Well, this next story is this is fun to see where this ended up. Well, Steve Austin and Deborah, as well as Jerry Lawler and the Cat, are expected to get married this month. I sure hope those crazy kids can make it.
Man, one's going to walk out and one's going to go to jail.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, one of them is going to abuse her, bro. Not to make light of it, but
We're going to abuse her, bro. This is real, folks. He really says this crap.
Yeah. Well, he says all this
Allegedly.
but yeah.
Yeah, we got 2 people that work with him saying the same thing on different podcasts. I'm going to think it's true.
It very well could be, yeah. But yeah, one of them is going to abuse his wife. The other one's going to get cheated on his wife is going to cheat on him with multiple men again.
Allegedly.
But, I like, by the way, how Jerry Lawler stuck by his wife to the point of where he even quit his job for her just to show solidarity. And how does he get repaid? She bangs a bunch of dudes behind his back.
It's his job back, though.
Yeah, so he got rid of the cheater, got his job back.
So we know that one of them wasn't Andy Kaufman, at least.
Yeah. Yeah, man. That sucks, man. Well, while Jerry Lawler's out there hitting the pile driver in the ring, she's getting anyway.
Good Lord.
Moving on.
For the love of Kenny Omega.
Wow. The Rock has pulled out of a starring role in an untitled sci-fi action movie that would have earned him $5 million, which I'm not joking is chump change to him now. But given the timing...
We never know what it was?
They don't say, but given the timing, this had to have been The One, which ended up starring Jet Li. Do you remember that that was a big thing? He said he turned that role down.
I don't know what the hell that movie is.
So I watched it with my dad when it first came out. It's not a bad movie if you like sci-fi action flicks, whatever. Basically, like Jet Li's character discovers there are multiple universes with him in it, and he figures out how to travel between them. And if he kills another version of himself...
I've seen this one. It's called Spider-Man.
Wow.
Far From Home.
If he kills another version of himself, then the other versions become more powerful. So he just keeps going to different universes and killing different versions of himself to make himself more powerful. And that's why it comes down to him and one other Jet Li, and they're both equally matched. So it's him fighting himself, and it's pretty awesome. But
looking at this cast, I'm going to say that Jason Statham replaced The Rock.
No, Jet Li replaced The Rock.
Well, doesn't make any damn sense.
Well, it wasn't. They completely changed the role when he turned it down, because it was originally going to be like.
I'll buy that, because I don't buy Jet Li replacing The Rock, but Jason Statham I have no problem. But
well, it was going to be originally. It was going to be like they were basically going to treat the role like if like it was an Arnold Schwarzenegger type, and he was going to be like fighting and brawling himself. And then after he turned it down, then they switched it to more like karate fighting, whatever, and martial arts. So. But yeah, it
makes sense.
It wasn't a bad movie. If anybody goes back and checks it out, it doesn't get a lot of play, but I feel like many of The Rock's movies back in the day, this would have kind of got thrown. It's like, oh yeah, he did that, whatever. But either way, Shawn Michaels is telling people that he's back.
It's funny that he would have worked with Statham back then and been reunited with them for the Fast and Furious movies.
Yeah, right. But Shawn Michaels is telling people that he's back to 215 pounds and has been training hard for the last few months because he's itching to get back into things.
When the hell has he ever been that high? No pun intended.
Everybody talks about how short he is, and I mean, by big giant WWF guy standards, yeah, he's like what, 6 foot, 6'1", something like that. So he's kind of short. He's not that short, like in the grand scheme of like average human beings. But yeah, he walks around about 215-ish, but they said, and I've seen photos of it, and Pritchard talked about after he left WWF and he just went back down to Texas, apparently he didn't get like fat or anything, but for Shawn Michaels standards, he got pretty pudgy, and he put on...
Oh, when you go to Texas and all they eat is meat down there. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Whether he'll wrestle one last match or not is still uncertain. Yeah, 1 or, 600.
I'll go have another prime of his career.
Yeah, right. I feel like, and obviously he had great matches in the 90s that people love and remember. I feel like more people fondly remember the matches from his comeback than anything. Like,
yeah.
Am I wrong?
No. I think there might have been more people watching then.
He also had...
Yeah, remember his first prime was what, 95 to 97?
Yeah, ish, yeah.
They weren't exactly breaking record numbers on there on USA or nothing.
Yeah, right. Well, and you got to think, WrestleMania, he was always, quote unquote, Mr. WrestleMania, whatever. But you think about the matches he had in his WrestleMania career before he left. I mean, I know he had a good match at 8 and 10, and obviously that one against Brett at 12.
Arguably, he had the best match at 9, actually.
Yeah, but that bar was on the floor. But yeah, but still, he did have the best match there. And obviously 12, and then 14, it wasn't a great match, but it was the most remembered match. And then after that,
some great commentary at 13.
Yeah, right. But he comes back after that, and almost every WrestleMania match he had in his comeback was freaking just earth-shattering. There's good stuff, pal. Good crap, pal.
Good. That's the power of Kenny Omega. I mean, God. Well, same thing.
him and The Rock, or not The Rock, gosh, I wish. Him and John Cena.
Yeah, don't we all?
Him and Kurt Angle. Him and The Undertaker.
Jericho.
Him and Ric Flair. Jericho. Yeah, I mean, you think of all those matches, like, dude,
this was some heavy names
up, man.
dropped. You know, take a minute to pick them all up.
Yeah, right. Well, this will kind of put stuff into perspective of where we are. WWF revenue streams are almost perfectly balanced. Over the last fiscal year, they've made $88 million from live events, $90 million from pay-per-view, $94 million from licensing, and $89 million from TV deals and ad revenue.
Where's merch fall in there?
What do they say? No, they don't necessarily say merchandise, but they just say they say
Jim Ross said that they once cut Austin $1 million check for merchandise. Was the biggest one he's ever seen in his life.
I believe it, man. People still buy his stuff to this day. They've remade his shirt at least twice, and he's got other versions of it and whatever. Dude, he was still making bank on merchandise. Yeah, well, he was still making bank on new merchandise after he retired, and he was just the sheriff. Like the
people still buy Michael Jordan shoes as a fashion thing, like that.
Yep. Yeah, it's crazy, man. I still want to. I do not have a Stone Cold shirt. I need one. That's
I need a
something
316 shirt because I'm kind of proud of this. The other one got too big for me.
Yeah, there you go. It's like the NWO shirt, man. People still buy it. People still.
I love the stories when Bischoff says little kids come up to him at autograph signings and tell him they love the NWO.
Hell yeah, man.
It's like you don't even have a spot when the freaking company ended, much less when that thing was hot.
Yeah, right. It's like, I know you got Peacock now, but it's like, you think they pull that up? It's like, I was watching an old anime the other day from like the early 2000s. I think it was Dragon Ball Z. And I'm like, oh my God, the animation style on this is just like horrible compared to today. And it's like the same thing with, I'm sure when a kid watches like old WCW, they're like, ew, this isn't HD.
I've been binge watching the old X-Men movie, cartoon to get ready for X-Men 97 coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, man, this was horrible, the animation.
Yeah. Yeah, at the time, well, as a kid, I didn't think anything of it because that's just how it was. And now we're all spoiled.
Well, you also have to factor in you're watching on like a high definition now.
Right.
Back then, that was on a CRT TV, so it's just whatever.
Well, this was a meme for a while too, where it was like, back in the day, you'd be like, oh my gosh, these graphics on this video game look so real, and then they'll show and it's like a blocky looking, like pixelated figure.
Like, man, PS1 was groundbreaking at one point. Now it's ugly as hell.
Yep, I remember my aunt. I think my aunt walked into a room when we were having a family get together, and we were like trading the controller back and forth playing Madden. My aunt walked in and thought like a football game was on because the graphics looked good. I'm like, if she could only see like what it looks like now, like good lord, that was like 20 years ago. Getting into the WCW side of things now, Vince Russo has been telling people that despite what both are saying publicly, Eric Bischoff did indeed meet with Brad Siegel last week to discuss purchasing WCW. Russo said that Bischoff has been trying to buy it since April. Apparently, a Japanese promotion is also said to be interested, although Uncle Dave isn't sure which one. I'm sure we can all assume. But, dude, no. Really? I'm gonna say probably New Japan, but I could be wrong. The thing is, and I don't know if I left this one story out because we really wouldn't have much to say about it. New Japan business is down right now. It's like, maybe get your own house in order before you're thinking about buying another organization in another country on the other side of the world. But,
could have had plans to merge them too.
Yeah. Well, that's just me thinking. So,
Me, right?
Yeah. I mean, I say it to you all the time. But...
Oh, well, yeah. But, yeah, like, this seems like such a bitch move. Like, Vince Russo's like, bro, I know what they're saying, but I know better. Bischoff is going to trying to buy this thing. He's been meeting with my boss, bro. It's like, why are you at liberty to say this crap in public?
All the stuff that guy's ever done, this is what you're Attacking?
In my defense, I've attacked him for much worse stuff than this. I'm just saying, like, good grief.
And going off of what we're about to see, you will again.
Exactly. It's just so stupid. It's like,
no,
really? It's
no.
like, wait,
You
you know,
take
you're
that
just gonna,
back.
and it's like, and I don't know if this is like admirable or like something to put him down about. It's like just the balls on this guy. It's like Brad Siegel is his boss, and he's coming out and saying one thing, and then he turns around in the pub.
Well, we know he's on his way out though, so you got to take that into account. He might know
right.
too.
Yeah, I'm hoping he does, because Brad Siegel, like I said, his boss is coming out in public saying, "Nah, I haven't had any talks with Eric." And then Vince Russo turns around and he's like, "Bro, he's lying, bro." Like, wow, okay. Maybe he thought Bischoff was definitely going to buy it and can his ass. I don't know. Oh man, you think
this guy?
You think Eric Bischoff, the day he fired Honky Tonk Man was the happiest day of his life? Wait till he got to fire Vince Russo. He might have had that one videotaped and run on a loop in his office while he touched himself.
Oh, you're really hammering home.
Yeah. You looked right in his face and said, "You're fired." All Vince McMahon, like.
While eating a banana.
While eating the corn cob from the long end. But anyway, Bret Hart is
You had to make it weird, huh?
Yeah, I made it weird. Bret Hart is the latest find by WCW for arriving late to a show.
So he was late, huh? I've heard that's been a thing with him forever.
Yeah, I was going to say, Bruce Pritchard talked about that. He said ever since like the mid 90s, people would be like, "Where the hell is Bret?" And he would show
doing
up
his hair. You think that hair grew himself?
I'm pretty sure he just like dunks his head underwater and is like, "Good."
You got to work hard to get your hair that shiny and curly. He's not Mexican.
Dude, I think it's like
he's got that. Hair was like that.
He's got that Dolph Ziggler, Mr. Perfect style hair where it's like he just like soaks it, and then like as it dries out, it gets poofier. So like, you ever notice like Dolph Ziggler, like his hair is all straight and combed and everything, and then like as it dries out, he's got like a fro.
Yep.
Mr. Perfect was the same damn way.
I think SummerSlam '91 is a good example of that.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, and Bret Hart, I think, was the same way. But, like, damn, like, Bret was always, going off about how unprofessional Shawn Michaels is. And they're like, can you maybe just show up on time? He's like, whoa, like, back up, okay? Like, what do you mean? I got to show up and, like, be here? Like, that's a lot to ask, man.
Yeah. I mean, now you're asking too much. And you're only giving me that $20 million or a 20-year contract at this time. Right.
And maybe you can show up and, be present. Yeah. You know what? I don't know.
Not going to work for me, eh?
Yeah. That doesn't work for me, buddy. I'm not your buddy, guy. Anyway, continuing on with WCW here. There's believed to be a hiring freeze right now in WCW, so don't expect anybody new anytime soon. Oh, well, I wonder why. You don't want to add more
I'm trying to think
to this shit show?
I'm trying to think if anyone joins them. I don't think they do. Nobody that matters anymore.
Why would you just throw more names into this hat of bullshit?
Oh, like, there's a company currently on the same network doing that right now.
Oh man.
So there you go.
Yep. Well, Vampiro is out for a while because his wife is going through a complicated pregnancy and could give birth at any moment. Is he really out because he's...
What is this news from? Because he's on this show.
I know. So I was going to say... But I don't frickin' know, man. But several of Shawn Michaels' students worked dark matches at Thunder, including Michael Shane.
Oh.
Maverick Matt Bentley, man.
So no Spanky or Bryan Danielson?
Nope. Michael Shane.
Only got the one that matters, right?
Oh, yeah.
Kevin Nash is there still, so nepotism. There you go.
Yeah, right. Vince Russo suffered a concussion a few months back and got rocked again in the head when Cat potatoed him with a kick on Nitro.
Yeah, I'm sure that was an accident.
Don't worry, he's not hurting anything valuable. It's just his brain.
What brain?
Yeah. There's an old saying that says no sense, no feeling. So
when they took his brain out to operate on after the first concussion, they didn't put it back. That's what happened.
Exactly. Yeah. Vince Russo is like, he was just like, bro, don't worry about hitting me in the head, bro. My brains are already made of pudding.
Oh man, bro, he get the sauce, bro. New York, bro.
Didn't he get concussed when he got like speared through the cage door or something?
Yep, despite wearing a football helmet, by the way.
Like a moron, dude. How do you get concussed? Like, well, I guess football players get concussed.
Goldberg's a 300-pound man. He's a little stick boy, so
big old beefy effing man. But there's some backstage debate on whether Johnny Ace should be put in charge instead of Vince Russo. A lot of better in-ring guys want Ace since they figured that he would book the show to better take advantage of their skills, while many of the young guys who are getting pushed for the first time in their careers obviously want to keep Russo in charge.
Hey, Mike, you're looking above average. Now, what are your picks for you?
Hey, guys, I was thinking about pushing that Mike Awesome guy. First of all, it's right in the name. He's awesome. Second of all, God, look at that tan. He's vascular as well, and he let me oil his pecs.
Cowabunga, dude.
Yeah. He also is the fat chick thriller, and as we all know, I love me some fat chicks just as much as the next guy. Cowabunga, dude.
No, I've seen his wife. No.
Yeah. More cushion for the pushing. Hey, Mike, cowabunga. Oh, man.
This is the creep that signed the two girls that are now her stepdaughters because he thought they were hot. Let's keep that in mind.
Yeah, right. Hey, Vince, I was going through this lingerie catalog, and I saw these two hot Latina chicks with big boobs. I thought maybe they'd let me oil their pecs. I mean, maybe they'd look good on TV. Cowabunga, Vince.
One day I want to be their daddy.
Oh, man.
That's creepy.
Yeah. Moving on. Oh, man.
None of this is made up, folks. Go look.
Yeah.
Well,
Not good. Believe me, not good.
all the stuff we were saying about Johnny Ace imitating him, that might have been made up, but him hiring fellas not being their dad is not made up.
Nope. In fact,
that is correct.
Either way, the number one priority in WCW right now is budget cutting, not ratings or attendance or drawing money, just cutting costs.
Yeah, that's clear as day. I could believe all of that.
Yep.
Not ratings, not attendance. Yeah, that all plays.
Well, a lot of the top stars like Lex Luger, Diamond Dallas Page, Scott Hall, etc. are all sitting at home collecting big guaranteed contracts, but WCW has decided not to use them because their deals also stipulate that they fly first class and their hotels and road costs are paid for. So, by not using them, WCW gets to save on those costs at least.
What's that list again?
Let's see. Lex Luger, DDP, and Scott Hall.
He'll come back. He will never come back.
Yeah, Scott Hall is gone forever, bro. Lex Luger was, he came back, but he was causing some issues around this time, him and Liz. So DDP never caused issues, ever. I realize he's making some money, but good grief. They're looking at this.
He saved lives. Well, later, but.
Yeah, right. Well, they're looking at this list of, big stars, and they're like, we can only afford, two of them. Let's see. Ric Flair and Sting. The rest of you stay home.
Kevin Nash, too. Probably getting a huge check.
Yeah, sorry. There was also Kevin Nash. I'm going to say probably Scott Hall. Or not Scott Hall. Scott Steiner. Scott Steiner was probably making
anybody that took forever to get to WWE after it closed. They were all sitting home or getting paid.
Yeah, right. I think Rey Mysterio was the only one that, I mean, I'm assuming he made some good money here because he sat his ass at home for a while. But I don't know.
He was the one I heard that took the payout from them to go to WWE. Boy, did that work out well.
Yeah. I mean, it all worked out in the end for him, but it's like...
He's got 2 Hall of Fame rings, and his school is a feeding ground for new talent.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so like I said...
It's something, right?
Yeah, it's like, I'm not shedding a tear for him. He did well for himself. But, like, when you think back, it's like, man, maybe he should have waited it out. I don't know. Like, selfishly, I enjoyed having him there because he was, like, an actual WCW, like, talent and not just like, oh, yeah, you were one of the new guys on the undercard.
Talent being the key word.
Yeah, right. But getting into this next segment of the show now, it is a return of This Week in ECW.
If I may, sir.
Yeah. This does not involve legalities, so his Jewish father lawyer will not have to get involved, but
he's always watching.
Oh, exactly.
He's like the angels on your shoulder. He's always watching.
Yeah, right. Do Jews believe in angels?
I don't know how that goes.
Yeah, I don't know. ECW's long-discussed plans of running monthly pay-per-views is starting next month. Right now, they
picked a good time, huh?
Yeah, right. Well, right now they run them bi-monthly, but they have events scheduled for October, November, and December. Looking ahead next year, there's
and
52.
January, and that's it.
Well, there's 52 weeks in a year, and at this rate, 36 of those Sundays will have wrestling pay-per-views in 2001.
Damn, that ain't bad.
Yeah, not quite.
I think we're going to be covering November ECW, right? It's coming up.
Yeah. I'm going to say, like, if that had happened, like, I don't think it would have went well for most, because you think about it, they said...
For anybody not under Vince McMahon, yeah.
Right, yeah, because it said 36 Sundays out of 52 would have wrestling pay-per-views.
Let's just average that up to about $30 a piece back then.
Yeah.
That's $90.
Nobody's going to buy all those.
Let's just call it $90. Hold on.
There are
$90 times 12 months. That's going to cost you $1,080.
Yeah.
Get the out.
Yeah, right. You walk into the cable company and you're like,
"Sir, here is a check with my name on it. Write down any number on this piece of paper and I will pay it."
Yeah, it's like, no thanks, man.
Let's be honest, ECW would have been dragging up the rear with those, by the way.
Yeah, oddly enough. Yeah, I would have rather ordered an ECW pay-per-view in 2001 than I would have WCW. Although I will say WCW started doing some, like, Greed was not terrible. It wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible. Maybe they would have pulled the nose up and did some decent stuff under Bischoff. I really don't know.
Well, Sin was a sin, so there's that.
Right. There's also the factor, you got to think, after Bischoff took over, would they even be doing monthly pay-per-views? Or would he have just kind of reshaped everything?
There's that.
Yeah. I don't know.
In 2023, I think, or 2024, I think AEW is going to monthly pay-per-views. Someone tweeted.
Really?
Apparently, TNT wants them to do monthly ones as part of the new deal. I don't know if it's sure or not, because I'll read that crap. I just saw what someone tweeted. But
so, why would TNT give a shit? Like,
I guess more revenue. I don't know.
Well, they don't get. I mean, unless they have something in a contract where they get a share of the pay-per-views, but that doesn't make any sense. I don't know, because
I have zero clue.
Because don't they stream on like Bleacher Report or something?
And Fight TV. And, this could also be if they have a vested interest, this could also be a sign that they're going to Max. So is that?
Yeah,
that's just me spitballing. But
yeah, I mean, if they start streaming pay-per-views on Max, then I could see it's like, okay, that makes more sense. But man, I don't know. Seems like an ill-advised plan to me, but what the hell do I know? Either way.
Well, you got to remember, like, as far as traditional pay-per-view goes, they're the only dog in the game. Because WWE's on Peacock, UFC's on ESPN Plus.
Yeah, that's true. But wrestlers in ECW, hold on, before I continue, brace yourself for this one, all right? Are you sitting down?
I am.
All right, because I don't want this to shock you so bad that you fall and you faint or anything.
Oh my God, I love this lead-in.
Wrestlers in ECW weren't paid again this week.
Oh my God, what?
Yeah,
that's never happened.
Yeah, no, just no. I don't believe you. Doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Liar whore, and you know it.
Anyway,
what the hell is that from again?
It's from some movie with Robert De Niro and Leonardo DiCaprio. I think it's called The Boy or something. But,
as opposed to the old truth-telling horrors, you know.
Well, you know, hey, just because you're one doesn't mean you're the other. All right.
I'm not touching that, but
just to be fair.
That's what she said.
Wow. But Paul Heyman held a meeting at the latest TV tapings and told everyone that the company is essentially surviving week to week on a shoestring budget until they can get a new TV deal. Again, I don't believe you. The words of Ron Burgundy. But Paul Heyman said that everyone will be paid in a few days, but since they ran a lot of shows in Canada recently, I love this excuse, there's a bit of a delay in getting the money and having it converted to U.S. currency and deposited in the bank so that they can send out checks.
Well, that's a real thing. I can tell you for a fact, because when I got back from Canada, I got hit with the thing in my bank account that was international exchange rate, so it does happen.
Wow. All right, then. Well, the wrestlers have been paid, or have been one pay period behind for months now, and recent checks have been post-dated until the following week. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it's not good, but only one pay period behind isn't, like, the worst.
Well, for them, yeah.
Yeah, for them, that's not bad. That's almost up to date.
That's almost ahead of the curve, actually.
Yeah, right. Heyman told the roster that he will be going to Los Angeles next week to close a deal and said that he won't come back to New York until a deal is finalized.
Oh, he'll go to New York, all right.
Yeah. So much for getting a deal finalized. But anyway.
Yeah, about that.
Yeah. Most people feel that an ECW USA Network deal is almost final, but it's being held up by the ongoing appeal of the WWF TNN decision. If/when USA loses their appeal, then an ECW deal is expected to be finalized.
Get that thing queued up again?
Yeah. I mean... Not quite.
It's not very often you get to use that twice in one segment, but...
Yeah, right. Well, Heyman also said that there's a good chance next weekend's house shows in Des Moines, Omaha, and Sioux City will likely be canceled. Ticket sales are weak for all three shows, and ECW isn't in a position where they can afford to go on the road and do money-losing shows. Several ECW stars are said to have made inquiries to WCW about getting a job because the future of ECW is so uncertain. Okay, last couple of things I want to break down there. Des Moines, okay, maybe. But Omaha and Sioux City, like, really, these are the places ECW thinks are going to draw a crowd? Like, maybe WWF or WCW?
Well, yeah, I don't want to get anyone pissed that lives there that might be listening, but yeah, that sounds perfect for that stupid company.
Omaha, Nebraska? I don't think they even know what ECW is.
I'm just saying it's not like a big destination spot, so why wouldn't you run there?
That's the point. They're such a small company that nobody knows.
Destination usually means people are traveling to the show. I just mean like it's a small city. You know,
right.
They probably got the place for cheap. There's that.
Right, but if there's not enough people there that know what your product is, or if they do know about it, give a damn about it. Like, who gives a crap? Like, Des Moines, Iowa, maybe. But, like, you think about this. Iowa, Nebraska, and I think Sioux City is in South Dakota. Like,
so Shayna Baszler would have been there.
Yeah. It's like you're holding shows out in the middle of nowhere. And you're like, oh, nobody's showing up. You don't say.
There was a Sturgis. They have a nice little attendance rating when they have wrestling shows there.
I wonder why. I'm sure they went for the wrestling, too. Well, they went. Well, they went to see if there's anybody a little too dark in their ring.
I wonder how well New Jack would have went over in Surges.
I don't know if he would have made it out alive. I mean, he would have went down stabbing, but I don't know if he would have made it out alive. But that last thing here.
Anybody thinks you're making this up, go listen to Booker T talk about it. He'll tell you.
Yeah, right. But several ECW stars are said to have made inquiries to WCW about getting a job. Why?
Well, you got any names on there?
No.
Because I'm pretty sure that we did that match with Kwee and what's his name, Jason Jett, right? So he went.
That's coming up. Yeah, agreed.
So,
yeah, I mean, I get that, but logically speaking, like you look at ECW, I know.
You're using logic.
It's like you look at WWF and you look at WCW. First of all, WWF has more programming that even if you're jobbing out on Sunday Night Heat, like it's something and you're getting paid. Why would you want to jump to WCW at this time? Like maybe they thought.
Let me put you back to a conversation we just recently had. Why would anyone want to keep going back to Impact?
Man,
just some charming sons of bitches, probably.
The excuse I always hear is like, oh, well, they let them have so much freedom and it's just fun.
And that's why the show sucks.
Yeah. Like, all right, well, I mean, I guess I get it, but either way, moving on with the ECW stuff here. Speaking of the recent Canada shows for ECW, we mentioned this guy earlier. Easy Money. Easy Money and Prodijet. I don't know who that is.
Was Easy Money Jason Jett? Was that Hulu Dinero?
Easy Money is Jason Jett.
So it's not what I thought.
Yeah, let me see. Prodijet, Angel Orsini. It's a woman.
Angel from the Baldies?
No, it's a woman.
Oh.
She might have been with.
Is she all the way live?
Yeah. But I don't know. She must have been with their little group. What the hell were they called?
I don't think they had a name. It was Confederate Currency, Easy Money, Hulu Dinero. I don't think they had a name. I know way too much about this company that I hate.
Yeah, I can't remember. I thought they had a name, but could be wrong. Either way, they were the only two stars who weren't who weren't able to cross the border into Canada because
Troy's liberal with vocabulary.
Well, they weren't able to cross the border into Canada because one of them has a prior criminal conviction, and they were traveling together. Okay.
We've seen this a lot.
Yeah. Uncle Dave says that was actually he says that was actually something of a shock because half of the ECW roster has criminal records, and a lot of them were surprised themselves that they managed to get into the country.
All right, Dave, I apologize. That was funny.
Oh, man. Sad part is he's not being funny about it. You ready for this laundry list, man?
Never am.
Tommy Dreamer seems to have seriously injured his shoulder in Cleveland, and there's concern of a torn rotator cuff, which could require surgery and take months to heal. He's definitely out of the pay-per-view, and most of the matches are now having to be rearranged because the TV plans were to shoot angles.
What pay-per-view is this?
Whatever one's coming up in September or October, I guess.
October would be...
But the TV plans were to... they were to shoot angles leading to Dreamer and Steve Corino versus C.W. Anderson, Swinger, and Simon Diamond. Speaking of which, by the way, that match just sounds awesome. Okay.
CW was a damn good wrestler, but I'll give you the rest.
CW was okay. Swinger was okay. Diamond was okay. Dreamer and Corino were good. Well, Corino was really good, but
prime. I think Corino was great, but
yeah, right. Well, I see this match on paper, and I just think,
shut up and take my money.
It's like, I like ice cream pizza, but I don't want ice cream on my pizza. I'm just saying.
Yeah, exactly. But speaking of which, C.W. Anderson's shoulder is injured also, so that messes things up too.
Ironically, him and Dreamer would have a match at the last pay-per-view a couple months later.
Yeah.
So it couldn't be that bad, huh?
to see whose shoulder is better. Justin Credible has a broken finger, but won't miss any time. Yeah, I mean, that you can just kind of tape up. Kid Cash broke his nose, but has continued working. Scotty Anton has bruised ribs, and Tony Mamaluke has hip and rib problems. Not... You mean we're going to be out Scotty Anton and Tony Mamaluke? No!
No wonder why this company's about to fold. Now it all comes together.
Yeah, right. Why is Scotty Anton not leading the charge of this company, man? Damn it.
You shut the up. I wasn't ready for that.
Scotty Riggs, man. Anyway, Paul Heyman has expressed interest in bringing in Michael Shane. 2 mentions, 1 podcast. Boom! Not even a TNA show. But listen to the phrasing of the story. Paul Heyman has expressed interest in bringing in Michael Shane, who is the cousin of Shawn Michaels, and train at his school. Oh, man. Heyman also wants to bring in Teddy Hart, who is Bret Hart's nephew.
Wow.
It doesn't
I pause on that one.
And it does take a genius to see how you could book a feud between these two. However, Heyman is aware that he would need to establish them as stars first before leading up to that. Oh, well then, if you want to establish stars, there's the place to go.
Why are you sounding sarcastic when you say that?
You know, because I'm sure, I mean, Teddy Hart maybe, but Michael Shane in ECW.
Think about it. It's not that far-fetched.
I was going to say, maybe he would have actually flourished there. I mean, as much as you can flourish in ECW. I don't know.
Not as much as a nice daisy in the Vegas sun, but, yeah.
Well, I mean, you think about some of the guys that were in ECW that's like, where the hell else would, I can't even think, Joey Matthews and the other one. Crap, what's his name?
York.
His tag. Yeah, what was it?
Christian York.
Yeah, Christian York. Where the hell else would
It's funny you forgot about him. Considering you and I were the only ones who knew who the hell he was in TNA, but yeah.
Yeah, right. It's like nobody would have given a damn about them anywhere else, but I mean, we remember them doing well in ECW, so there's that. Speaking of Teddy Hart, though, Bad News Allen.
Oh, do we got to keep?
Well, Bad News Allen, who works with Stampede, has said that he thinks Teddy will end up being the best wrestler to ever come from the Hart family. Good God.
He's the toughest guy in the prison yard. We'll give him that.
Uncle Dave says pretty much everyone who has seen him work has had unanimous praise for Teddy Hart's in-ring ability, but on the flip side, almost nobody has nice things to say about his overall attitude and maturity, which is what cost him his WWF developmental deal a while back. Yeah, it's not any better. He could have been, like, even Bruce Pritchard says, dude, he could have been a star. Like, we would have done something with him. He was great. He had the name. He had the ability. He had a unique look, bro. But
yeah, I'm stuck on the name. I mean, yeah, that's all you need to know.
Yeah, but he's a douche. He can't keep
when you
himself
have a
clean.
Twitter account dedicated to if you're in jail or not, yeah, that kind of cements it.
Right. Yikes, man. But a fan in Raleigh, North Carolina, filed a lawsuit against Paul Heyman, Rob Van Dam, and the owner of the Ritz Theater for alleged injuries he suffered at a house show there in February of 1999.
Holy crap, dude.
I was wrong, by the way. Here's where the Jewish father lawyer comes in. So I stand corrected.
My Jewish father lawyer said you did not get hurt. You staged that whole thing.
The lawsuit alleges that RVD did a flip into the crowd, that tracks, which sent the fan to the hospital with permanent back and leg injuries. Oh, God. The lawsuit also alleges that RVD was under the influence of drugs. No.
Well, hold on. Herbs are not drugs.
Well, he was under the influence. So it was under the influence of something that altered his state of mind. So, and it argues that ECW promotes the use of marijuana and LSD. BD for the weed, Spike Dudley for the acid specifically. I mean, promotes? I don't know about promotes. Maybe? I don't know. I guess it depends on how you define promotes.
Well, he's always talking about it and stuff. I guess that is promoting. Got to give him that. But
yeah. And Spike Dudley's move is called the acid drop. So,
like I told you, I was like 16, 17 when I realized what that meant. Why the hell did they change it to the Deadly Dog? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know, man. But I don't know what happens with this lawsuit, but all of that sounds totally legit. Last story I got out of EC Dub here. Justin Credible was interviewed on the Observer Live show and talked about the XPW incident at ECW's pay-per-view in July, now in the archives. Credible talked about it happening right as the match with Tommy Dreamer was about to start and said that he tried to ignore it because he didn't want to sell what they were doing. However, he admitted that it screwed up the planned main event because they ended the show early due to an ongoing brawl happening in the parking lot at the same time with ECW and XPW wrestlers. And he said that he and Dreamer only got to do about 40% of what they had planned because of it.
Oh, man, I bet you that 60% is what took away from this match being a 5-star classic.
Yeah, that's like... God. That's like when The Undertaker complained that the Undertaker versus Undertaker match at SummerSlam 1994 was cut was cut by more than 50% because of the cage match between Brett and Owen Hart. Like, oh man,
should she really be complaining, or should she be taking them both the case of beer and saying thank you?
Yeah, it's like, oh man, you saved us from more long suffering. How can I thank you? Jeez Louise, man. Yeah, that was about to be a 5-star classic in the Tokyo Dome. Let me tell you, Stairway to Hell, everybody.
Oh, God,
it was something to behold. I'll say that. But anyway, let's go to Japan real quick. Hey, check this this opening out here. Rookie young lion Hiroshi Tanahashi is out for the next few months after suffering some sort of broken bone.
Jeez, he's that old? Or goes back that far?
Yep. Yep, he was in the New Japan Dojo at this time. 2000, man. Yeah, he's been wrestling for a while. He's getting up there. That's why the last time we saw him, he was just meh.
It was not good. Not good.
Yeah, or do you mean
not good? Believe me, not good.
That'd be the one.
MJF had to carry his ass, and I never thought I would say that about Tanahashi. But here's a guy that we brought up somebody else that was a subject of Dark Side of the Ring. Well, here's this guy. Atsushi Onita's latest retirement scheme is that he wrestled what was allegedly his retirement match in Japan.
Allegedly!
His retirement match in Japan. But he was saying that he would never wrestle in the country again. But now he's trying to book shows featuring himself. He's trying to book shows featuring himself at U.S. Army bases throughout Japan, arguing that since the matches would take place on U.S. government property, he wouldn't technically be wrestling in Japan.
No.
That's some cheap loophole BS, man. What a carny fool. Good grief, man. And you know what? The U.S. Army gets a little jumpy when things blow up around them, all right? I'm just going to say. So that's probably not a good plan, Onita.
And they are, trained to quickly fire back,
Yeah, right. There are a couple of new promotions starting up soon. Fox Sportsnet is running shows from the World Sumo Wrestling League with the idea of creating characters like pro wrestling and mixing in popular music. Man, that sounds like it should be on ESPN 8 The Ocho. But the other is a revival of the old Glow called Women of Wrestling, or WOW, headed by David McLean, the guy who created Glow and POW, Powerful Women of Wrestling.
That'd be PWO.
Well, it's P-O for powerful, so he cheated a little bit, but yeah. So the sumo thing never went anywhere. I know, I was shocked too. But WOW began, disappeared for years, came back for a minute, disappeared again, then had a weekly show on Access TV from 2019 to 2020, and then went to Pluto TV and CW. It's still the same company, by the way, ran by David McLean and everything. Man, talk about not wanting to die. Good Lord.
I don't know. I feel like if I watched this, I would want to die, but...
Look, I'm not going to fault the guy if he... Like, it could be one of two things. Either he really loves himself some women's wrestling, which in that case, cool, whatever. You're giving women a job, good stuff, whatever. On the other hand, it could just be that he's a giant perv.
Bro, that's how you got to run it, bro.
Hey, boss, I thought about hiring these bikini models. They'll let me oil their pecs, and they've got impeccable Starrcade main eventing tans. Cowabunga, dude.
Holy shit.
Oh, man. Of course, they'll never main event Starrcade because they're women, and that don't fly. Anyway, God. Speaking of new promotions, Dusty Rhodes is running his own indie promotion called Turnbuckle Championship Wrestling. Cool. The first TV tapings will be next month and will air on local TV in Georgia. Ray Lloyd, a.k.a. Glacier, is champion, and they sometimes have appearances by Rhodes himself and Barry Windham, among others. Man, I wonder if Glacier ever defended against Dink. Because, where can you ever see those two in the same place at the same time?
You know what? You keep joking, but we haven't, so he's right.
Look, he is right. But so what? That's one of them where it's like, I'm right. Okay. Who cares? Last story I got here. I want to talk about, that tracks. Here you go.
I also want to point out that Ray Lloyd was in the very first ever AEW pay-per-view, so he's still around.
Hell yeah. The last story here. Harley Race was arrested for boating while intoxicated at a lake in Missouri. In 1990,
Again, things that track.
Yep. In 1990, Race was involved in a boating accident, and several people were injured, and he was charged with negligence in that case. He was allegedly drunk then, too, but they couldn't prove it.
It's the second time I've heard about this.
Yeah. I can't remember which one. It was one of our 1990 shows, I believe, so go check that out. But yeah. So what is it? Once a decade, he has to get busted for driving a boat while drunk?
How does that happen, by the way? Like, does someone pull the boat over? How do you know? Like, because when you're on, like, the water, the waves are swinging back and forth, so it's not like a car on the road. So how do you know?
Yeah, it's like, was he, like, stumbling all over and, like, having beer cans in his hand or whatever, and the Coast Guard just comes up, woo, pull it over. Like, how does that even work, man? I'm confused, but...
Our minds want to know.
Right. But anyway, that's the end of that, man. We got the event to get into now. Are you ready for this one?
I kind of am.
It'll be fun to talk about. We'll get into all of it right after this break.
Follow the Main Event Marks at facebook.com/Main Event Marks Pod, on Twitter at Main Event _Marks, and on Instagram at Main Event _Marks and at Main Event Collector.
What's up, everybody? I am the hardest part of the ring, the host of the Apron Bump podcast. Ugh, another wrestling podcast. How many times can I listen to fans tell me who needs a push, who doesn't need a push, who brings Vince's coffee these days? Enough! The Apron Bump is about the journey. It's about nostalgia. It's about discovering new forms of wrestling to really tickle your pickle as a wrestling fan. The podcast brings you reviews of wrestling events all over the world, whether it's WWF, WWE, WCW, ECW. We even cover the golden eras of Ring of Honor, Progress, TNA, and more promotions in the future as well. New episodes every Wednesday. Bump Day, yeah? Go to apronbump.com or go to your favorite podcast platform or YouTube and subscribe today for the most diverse, fan-friendly wrestling podcast in the world. I'm Hard.
The Main Event Marks are available wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube. Find all of our links on our link tree at linktr.ee/Main Event Marks.
And we're back. It's WCW Fall Brawl 2000. Took place September 17th, 2000. The tagline, unedited, unpredictable, unbelievable.
Uncensored.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and meanwhile, all I could think is,
Right.
All I can think is, bro.
yeah. The venue was the HSBC Arena in Buffalo, New York. Attendance, 8,638. Ouch.
How many is the
whole? Let's see.
I feel like it's the same name still, too.
Oh, it's the KeyBank Center. Holy shit. It holds about 19,200.
Good Lord.
Well, that kind of blows my argument out of the water because I'm like, from the angles and whatever, it looks pretty full. So, yeah.
Yeah, I say that every Wednesday night.
Yeah. Dude, this is like half full for a pay-per-view. God. But it's got a buy rate of 0.16 for 75,000 buys. Oh, man. For that time, it was... I mean, that's not the worst, but it's not good. All right?
Not good. Believe me, not good.
But all the pyro lights off to start the show, and then we get right into the opening match, which is quite the change from old WCW, where we sat with commentary for about 5 effing minutes. But the first match, it is prime time Elix Skipper with Major Guns defending the WCW Cruiserweight title against Kwee with Papaya.
That's the Kwee.
Yeah, this goes about 11 minutes. Yikes. I say that. The match was not bad. But when outside of the ring at one point, Skipper does an Asai moonsault and takes out a cameraman. This seems legit, so that cameraman was stupid. The Natural Born Thrillers come out onto the stage at one point. Near the end,
and you know who's leading them?
Mr. Above Average, Mike Sanders.
Mike Sanders.
The on-again, off-again commissioner, because, you know, when I think an entertaining guy that needs to be in multiple segments per show, I think Mike Sanders.
No? I mean, that's what I think.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Sarcasm is offensive.
But near the end, Papaya slaps Skipper right in front of the ref. No DQ. What the hell? But in the end, Elix chop blocks the front of Kiwi's knee, hits the play of the day, and wins. Uncle Dave gave this dose stars. I gave it 3. Well, I liked it. What say you?
I gave it 3 as well.
Yeah, I like this bit more than Dave did. I thought it was fairly entertaining. I mean, there was the one thing, like I said, with the slap in front of the referee where the ref was just like, well, I'll pretend that didn't happen.
One of these people is a Hall of Famer, by the way.
Yeah, and it's neither one of the participants in the ring.
Who did more in this match than she ever really did in her whole career in the ring.
Yeah, right. But we now go to commentary for a bit so that they can run down the rest of the show. Then we get the entrances for 3 count. Yeah, right. We now get the entrances for 3 count. No one interrupts their stupid performance and the dancing on their dots.
Horrible dub music, by the way.
Right. Dude, they just... I kept waiting. I was like, somebody's going to come out, right? Now? Maybe now. And they're like, nope, they just keep effing going, man. They did a whole song. Ugh, God. But this next match is a 6-man tag. It's 3 count.
If you don't get on TRL, go look it up, kids, without doing the whole performance.
Yeah, right. Where's Tank Abbott, by the way? He's not out here with his nipples showing. But
I think he's already gone back to the badass.
Oh, well, thank God. But it's 3 count of Shane Helms, Shannon Moore, and Evan Courageous. Nothing happening, Evan Courageous. Taking on the MIA of Sergeant AWOL, Lieutenant Loco, and Corporal Cation. Real names. It goes 10.5 minutes. So this is a WCW 2000s match, so a table has to be set up outside the ring so that when Sergeant AWOL gets on the apron, he gets knocked off through the table. But in the end, Corporal Cation hits the whiplash.
I know what you're thinking. Yes, Sergeant AWOL is just like Abyss. He trips over his own dick.
Yep. Damn near every time, by the way. It's the wall, brother. But in the end, Corporal Occasion hits the whiplash on Shane for the win. For anybody wondering, Corporal Occasion is Lash LaRue, hence the name Whiplash. So anyway, I just felt the need to explain it. But Uncle Dave gave this 2 3/4 stars. Maybe the table spot shaved off a quarter. I gave it 3. I was entertained. What say you?
I gave it 3. It was very fun.
I just made fun of it and everything, but it was fine. I didn't mind it. This next segment, I laughed. All right, I'll be honest, I laughed a little bit. You see footage from earlier in the day with Jeff Jarrett, Scott Steiner, and Kevin Nash coming into the building, and they completely ignore a young boy that asks for autographs. But then Kevin Nash asks the boy how much money he has, and he says $1.50, and Nash says, why don't you go get yourself a soda? It's like $1.50 for an autograph.
$1.50 for a soda. What world is he living in?
2000.
Still going to be hella high in arenas. But...
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, he was backstage. They probably had vending machines, maybe.
I liked how it looked like they were all like, screw that kid. Nash is going to be the cool one and sign it. No.
Yeah, right. Oh, man. But up next, well, you get this. It is the Harris boys of Ron and Don Harris.
May or may not be Nazis.
Hey, you know what, man? I'm just proud of them. They left their hoods in the back, okay?
They did.
But they're taking on Chronic, which are just APA with weed. It is Brian Adams and Brian Clark. And it is a first blood chain
Rush
match.
and Adam Bomb.
Exactly.
Well, no, it's a chain match at first, and they had the first blood, right?
Yeah.
So we got to put a hat on a hat.
Yep. It's it goes for 6.5 minutes. And right here, they start the already gimmicked up match. Brian Adams asks them to up the ante and make this a first blood match, which the Harris brothers agree to. So not just a chain, it's a first blood chain. Or in the words of Dr. Evil,
right.
Why would you have a first blood match with something that can easily bust you open with one touch if hit hard enough?
Yeah, well, both of them are big men.
That'd be like if Biss and Darby Allin had a thumbtack match in First Blood. Wouldn't it?
Yeah, right. Well, God. They all brawl throughout the entire arena, into the crowd, etc. Because it's always smart when you're swinging chains. Go right into the crowd. The Harris brothers.
And Bischoff doesn't have a Jewish father lawyer.
Yeah.
Or
so
whoever it was, whatever.
Turner. Well, the Harrises were just looking to make sure they didn't hit any of the white fans. But anyway.
Good Lord.
The ref ends up getting bumped.
Not wrong.
The Harris brothers introduce a third hat on a hat, which is a barbed wire baseball bat. Yeah. They use that to bust open Brian Adams and win. Because, a chain doesn't do enough. You got to get barbed wire on a baseball bat.
Oh, man, I never thought about that.
Uncle Dave gave this a 0.5 star. I gave it dose. It was slightly below average. What say you?
I gave it 1. We started taking the nosedive here. I'm having a decent show.
Yeah. I don't know what else to say about this. But we got to get an afterbirth, everybody. After the match, Chronic attacks the Harris brothers, sending them running. Chronic then hits the high times on the referee before leaving. Because, it's his fault.
He didn't see him take out the barbed wire bat in a match that's obviously no DQ, by the way.
Right. Yeah, what was he going to do? Disqualify him? Yeah, okay. But here's my thing. Yet again, Chronic were the ones to introduce that stipulation. They didn't have to. They introduced it. They tripped over their own dicks and lost. So they beat up their opponents after the match and then chokeslam the referee. You know what? That's good stuff right there, man. That makes sense.
Again, with the sarcasm, I don't get it.
Backstage, Pamela Paulshock is standing by with the MIA, men, or what is it?
Misfits.
What Misfits in Action. That's it. She asks General Rection for his comments on tonight's match. Rection gives a super pro-American promo and says that he's dedicating tonight's match to his friend and mentor, Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Hell yeah. Duggan comes into frame and says that he's going to be the special guest enforcer for tonight's match.
Comes in looking like your drunk uncle at every family barbecue.
Yeah, right. Hey, everybody, what's this BYOB? It's okay. I brought my own cooler. It's full. Well, it's half full. But anyway, Lance Storm now comes out before the match with Major Guns by his side. For anybody that doesn't know, she's like reluctantly with Team Canada.
And all the way live.
I ain't kidding. Hey, you know, she does stuff on the internet now, like sells replicas of her body parts.
See, I knew this because Conrad said it.
Yep. I will leave it to everybody's imagination for everything else. Anyway, she says, or Lance Storm, rather, says that he's shocked that the people of Buffalo haven't picked up and moved to Canada yet.
Well, it is right there.
Yeah, oh, man, do I want to live in New York or Canada? Do I want to poison myself or shoot myself? Man, I can't. That's tough. I just lost some listeners. But he invites everyone to follow him back to Ontario after tonight's match. Yeah. I guess. Where are you going to freeze your ass off at? Ontario or Buffalo?
I thought he was from Calgary.
Alberta, Canada. Yeah.
See, well, I had the dramatic pause going, but you cut me off.
How long was it going to go? Give the people what they want.
You know, it's got to be dramatic, so you got to drag it out. God, they're so stupid.
He said to follow him to Ontario because that's where Nitro was going to be the next night. So there you go. But he plays "Oh Canada" while standing at attention. Yet again, this is not interrupted. They do the whole song.
That was one of my notes. Like, is this like the first time ever "Oh Canada" wasn't interrupted?
Well, first we get 3 counts whole performance, and then we get the entire "Oh Canada." Like, okay. I think this is the first time nobody's national anthem was interrupted. Crazy. But this match is Lance Storm with Major Guns defending the United States Heavyweight title against General Hugh G. Rection. Maturity, folks.
It's either Hugh Erection or humorous.
Yeah, right. Then,
I'll tell you what to tell you. I mean, they just call him Bill DeMott.
Yeah,
right. Screw it. No. I'm just going to go with your name. We don't need to trademark any of that crap, pal.
Yeah, God dang it, pal. We're not calling you Hugh G. Rection. God dang, that's crass.
Bro.
We're going to send you down to the developmentals, and you're going to put a jelly donut in your butt cheeks and stink face your students.
That's funny.
Ha ha, that's not crass. Calling yourself the male member? Oh, God, that's crass, pal. By the way, the story about the jelly donut was... Allegedly! Just want to point that out. I think not Brian Myers, Matt Cardona, I think, backed that one up. If I remember correctly, but yeah. Either way.
Well, yeah, Brian Myers loves him, so...
Yeah, well, we've established both of them like terrible things, so...
ECW and GCW, so there you go.
Yep, and PBR. But the special guest enforcer for this match...
I won't overlook the Brian Myers ECW thing only because he grew up in New York and was on TV all the time there, but...
Yeah. But, as we established, Jim Duggan's the special guest enforcer. This goes 6 minutes, 46 seconds.
And if you know wrestling at all, folks, you know what's coming.
Yeah, well, unfortunately. Look, I can crap on WCW all I want, but the crowd was on their feet for this stuff from Jump Street.
Especially Generation. He was over as hell.
Yeah,
which I forgot about.
Well, in the end, Major Guns ends up distracting the referee by accident.
And me.
While General Rection climbs up for a moonsault. But then Jim Duggan clocks him with his 2x4. This knocks him out and allows Lance Storm to lock in the Maple Leaf. Ref sees that Rection is passed out and declares Storm the winner. That turncoat.
Scott Hudson's going off like he just saw what's his name selling the plans to West Point. Who was that? Benedict Arnold.
Yeah.
He's going off on like you just saw it happen before his eyes.
Yeah, right. Uncle Dave gave this 2.25 stars. I gave it an even 2. What say you?
I gave it 2. Their last match is way better.
Yeah, this was meh. That turn was just like, why, man?
It's, you know, make fun of Jim Duggan all you want, not like him, whatever, but nothing screams Americana in wrestling like Jim Duggan. They just got put him in Canada, which, by the way, you know, is on par with Slaughter going Iraqi sympathizer.
Yeah, right.
Because, you know, Iraq and Canada, you know, they're one and the same, right?
Yeah, like, one is less offensive.
In hindsight, it's like, okay, Canada, big BFD.
Yeah. Well, just give it a few years, man. You can join one of those other, I'm moving to Canada if so-and-so wins the presidential election. Join all of them.
And no one ever did.
Yeah, right. Well, hey, they said that the site crashed about moving to Canada. Meanwhile, nobody actually did it. So they just read about it, realized, oh, wow, this takes effort.
The site crashed for all 5 people.
Yeah.
And that's a different story, but
yeah,
you get it.
Well, what that tells me is they read like what you have to do to move to Canada. They went, oh God, this requires like effort. I don't want to do that, and then they just forgot about it.
Remember the Canadian citizenship test? Question 1: do you want to be Canadian? Question 2: really?
Question 3: how do you feel about maple syrup? This one's really important. All right, so you better get this one right. Damn it.
All right, and what's the name of that sport we like?
How do you feel about Bryan Adams, the musician, not the wrestler? Oh man, you like Nickelback,
I'm just
right?
joking. I've been to Canada. I loved it there, so I just want to point that out. Don't put me in the pits of hell with Troy here. Canadians.
I've never been. Well, I can't say that. I've been to Niagara Falls, Canada, but that's not quote unquote real Canada. So I don't know. I give a crap. I could give a crap less about it. If I go, cool. But that's never going to be a place where I'm like, man, I need to plan a trip to Canada.
I do really want to go to Vancouver. Heard it's beautiful up there.
Yeah. Well, if I ever get the hankering for some real maple syrup and to see a moose, I'll make the trek. But after the match, Jim Duggan rips off his referee shirt to reveal a Canadian shirt.
Oh my God!
I don't understand why Mark Madden is so giddy about him going to Canada. He's American.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. You said his name. It triggers me.
I didn't even hear what you said. I think I accidentally cut you off.
Fuck the Steelers.
Yeah, there you go. I don't get.
By the way, sorry. I don't know how you feel about them.
I mean, I guess if you live in Pittsburgh, Canada is a good alternative. Like, it can only go up from there, right? But
it's like living in San Francisco saying, you know what, I want to move to Oakland. I'm like, I guess.
Well, this is like one of them, like, maybe they wouldn't let him in, and he's like, please, for the love of God. And they're like, no, we don't take your kind here, eh? And he's like, I just want to be Canadian. Get me out of Pittsburgh, please.
You've clearly had enough maple syrup, sir.
Well, sir, we don't have enough food up here for you, eh? Look, the nearest all-you-can-eat buffet is just across the border, eh? We're going to hell. Anyway. MIA rushes the ring and gets taken out one by one by Duggan and his 2x4. Sounds dirty. Hacksaw then poses with Storm, and they leave, dragging Major Guns along with them.
I'm just laughing at this whole thing. I'm like, oh, we're really supposed to believe that's a big thing because it's Canada. I can't stop harping on this, I know, but it's just like they were obviously trying to recreate slaughter in Iraq, right? Obviously. It just didn't. It went over like a fart in church, though.
Well, this was another one of those things, like, Russo had those things about himself, like, he hated the South, and I think he hated Canada. Because
you know where Duggan's from, bro?
I don't even know where is he from? I don't know.
New York, bro.
Oh, yeah, that's right. But
not New York.
Yeah. But the thing is, like, if you think about it, in the WWF, one of Russo's biggest things that he had a hand in was the America versus Canada thing. He recreated it in WCW. He recreated it in TNA. That was like his thing. He thought everybody hates Canada like me, bro.
Remember when he had the Revolution? They had their own flag.
Oh, God. Yeah, I forgot about that.
And then two of them said, screw this, and left the WWE.
Yep.
Oh, man.
That's...
Oddly enough, one of them was from Pittsburgh, too. And it wasn't Mark Madden.
Right. And he's on the show. But backstage...
Oh, yeah, we're getting to that.
This is one of my favorite segments of the show right here. Backstage, Mean Gene Okerlund standing by with the Natural Born Thrillers. Mike Sanders.
I think we already hit about this, by the way, pre-recording, right? Or was it on recording?
Yeah, it was opening of the show, yeah. Well, Mike Sanders mocks Conan, and then Gene calls him a prick. When Sean O'Haire grabs...
How'd they get on live TV? I know it's on pay-per-view, but still.
I don't know, but...
I'm assuming Gene just gave no F's at the end.
Well, this was like... I feel like this was his new gimmick. They were like, just insult the people you're interviewing. Because he did this all the time. I loved it. When Sean O'Haire grabs Gene by the jacket, Gene tells him to blow it out his ass. And he says he's got guys that can take out O'Haire's kneecaps. Oh, my God. This is awesome. Sanders then says that they're the future. It says the filthy animals have nothing. Yeah, about that. Good Lord. I loved it. There was another one of these where Gene, like, every time Gene got with the Natural Born Thrillers, wasn't there one where Mike Sanders said something? He's like, all right, smart ass.
Yeah.
I love it. And after the Natural Born Thrillers enter the ring, we see the filthy animals in the parking lot gathering around a limo. Someone gets out of the limo covering his head in a towel.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Leading him into the building as a surprise.
I think I might have used my fart in church, going over like a fart in church too early.
Yeah. I will say this. I forgot who it was. I was seriously like, who is it? It's a big guy. But who is it? Once they come out on the stage, they reveal the surprise is Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff.
I guess if there's anybody in history that fits in with the filthy animals, it's Mr.
Right. Good grief. I'm just like, what?
There is somewhat of a backstory to this, by the way. I guess they attacked him because he was one of the trainers at the power plant.
Yeah, so they make sure to point out, they're like, oh, he trained all the filthy, or the Natural Born Thrillers. Like, okay. Dude, they've done this multiple times. Remember when they had that feud between, was it a feud, or was he with him when Goldberg had his trainer?
Yeah, Sarge.
Yeah. Was he, that was something, well, no, they didn't feud, that was it, because didn't somebody attack Sarge, and that kind of started a feud with Goldberg and somebody else?
Luger and Buff, I believe.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, I have a lot of notes for this next match, so buckle in for this. It's the Natural Born Thrillers. It's Mike
You need
Sanders.
to stop being so liberal with the word match, because I didn't know what the hell this was.
Well, it's Mike Sanders, Sean O'Haire, Mark Jindrak, Chuck Palumbo, Reno, Johnny Stamboli, and Sean Stasiak. Or maybe that's too many people. I don't even know. But they're taking on... They were all there at ringside. I know that. They're taking on the filthy animals of Conan, Disco, Rey Mysterio Jr., it's Disco with a Q, by the way, Juventud Guerrera, and Tigress with Big Vito and Paul Orndorff. Yeah, it's an elimination match. So,
and yes, Tigress is in this match, right?
All the way live.
Now the reason, Now the reason I asked that is because if you notice at the beginning of this match, people are on the apron, on the floor, like managers on the apron, on the floor. Mike Sanders on commentary, and then I believe someone else on Natural Born Thrillers is on commentary. So I didn't know what the hell's going on in this match. Like, who's in it? Who's not? Who's the commentary? It's all over the damn place.
I'm with you, but Tony Schiavone was popping wood over at the commentary table with Tigress out of the ring. That was his favorite. Yeah, right. This goes 16 and a half minutes, by the way. So Disco has his back to the middle of the ring at one point. Conan runs into him, or gets shoved into him, I guess. So Disco blindly decides, I'm going to hit the chart buster on whoever's behind me. Yeah. And it's Conan. This leads Sean O'Haire to pin and eliminate Conan. Because of this, everybody's pissed off at Disco because he's an idiot. They won't tag him in. Vito slaps him. And this allows Reno to hit rolling the dice to eliminate Disco. Well, they both had to be eliminated first so they could go to the back, smoke up, and record their podcast together. Oh, wait, no, I'm ahead of time. Sorry.
And for those of you who may not know what rolling the dice is, you know what that is?
It's like, well, Test did it. It was called the Test Drive. It's sort of like the Crossroads. You'd have to see it.
The Crossroads.
Yeah, pretty much. But
so you roll the dice because his name's Reno. Get it? Ha ha ha.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But Vito misses a swing with a kendo stick. Yeah, got to get that in.
That was a stickball bat, right?
Looked like a kendo stick to me, but I don't know. But he misses it.
That's the important part.
Stamboli cracks Vito with one instead. So, yeah, more kendo sticks. Reno hits rolling the dice on Vito and pins him. The Filthy Animals strategize with Paul Orndorff now before continuing. Hoovy hits a Hoovy driver on Reno. Mysterio hits a leg drop on his crotch from the top rope and eliminates Reno. After being tossed around by Mark Jindrak and Sean O'Haire, O'Haire hits a Shanton bomb, real name, on Juventud to pin him. So Hoovy's gone. When Stamboli introduces a kendo stick, I think Paul Orndorff used it for the first time in his entire life. I can't think of another time he would have. But this is before he pile drives.
Kendo stick match with Hulk Hogan in the 80s? What's wrong with you?
Yeah, right. Oh, he didn't have a hardcore street fight, death match, barroom brawl with Roddy Piper or anything.
Legends are to be believed. He has had a couple of barroom brawls, but
probably. Yeah, but then he pile drives Johnny Stamboli to eliminate him. Later,
hold on. Gotta get this one in. Do you know who Johnny Stamboli is?
Well, Johnny the Bull Stamboli is also Relic, which of course is killer spelled backwards.
There it is.
And in the independent scene, he is also Red Rum, which, of course, is murder spelled backwards. But later, Orndorff hits a pile driver on Mark Jindrak, who I have a Jax figure of, by the way. And then he basically collapses. O'Haire pins Orndorff to eliminate him. Referees check on Paul as he can't move. Everyone wrestles around for a bit.
This is where it gets stupid.
Yeah, they start like
old man down in the ring. Could be legitimate. Who knows?
I'm thinking it is because they're just wrestling around him. Nobody's touching him.
And if you notice, a couple times they hit his foot. I know it's not exactly what part of him is hurt. But why is it still going?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty dangerous and dumb. But the referees are even whoa, back off, guys. And then finally, referee Charles Robinson just throws the damn match out as a no contest so they can stretch Orndorff out, saying that his neck is messed up. Which, even if it is a legitimate injury, why didn't they pause the match, get him out of there, and then restart?
Reasons?
Yeah, oh crap, now we have to improvise the end because Orndorff was supposed to be a central part of it. They didn't follow the script, and now they have to improvise the end.
Is that in the archives?
That was New Blood, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, now in the archives. Go check it out. But Uncle Dave gave this a 1.5 stars. You're going to be like, what the F? But until the end, I thought this was a decent match. I gave it 2.5. What say you?
I gave it 1 because I didn't know what the hell was going on. Like I said, there were people on the floor as managers, people on commentary, and then they were in the ring. What the hell's going on here?
Stuff and things. I don't know. But as EMTs are wheeling Orndorff out on a stretcher, the crowd gives him a standing ovation. I'm thinking this was real, man. Oh no!
I looked it up and I couldn't find anything. So
yeah, I don't know. They put him on a neck brace. They wheeled him out. I don't know, man.
To my knowledge, we didn't see him on WCW TV ever again. So
yeah, going forever, bro.
Check Wikipedia.
You could definitely tell his arm, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
It was not good.
Not good. Believe me, not good.
But Pamela Paulshock is backstage now with Billy Kidman and Medusa. She says that they'll compete in one of the most dangerous matches in all of professional wrestling.
God.
The Pittsburgh Plunge Scaffold Match. Yeah. Or, excuse me.
Right.
It's funny. I think Kidman's from like the other side of Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Yeah. Was Allentown or whatever the F. Which Billy Joel wrote a song about. Anyway. Kidman
Ed
and
Helms
Medusa.
covered. Did pretty well.
Kidman and Medusa both claim Tori Wilson is a bimbo and every other name in the book. During his entrance, Shane Douglas
I feel like
claims
she
that
took an hour to get to the word bitch. Did you get that?
yeah.
In that promo. It's like she wanted to say to start off with, but she took forever to get there.
Yeah, she said every other word in the book.
Like what does
good
what Jim Cornette say? He said she goes around her elbow to get your wrist.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Just say it. My God. I'm not advocating or anything, but clearly we knew what she was going for.
Yeah, Billy Kidman said the other B word. Well, there you go. During his entrance, Shane Douglas claims that if Kidman and Medusa don't take the plunge tonight, he'll give everyone their money back. So you know where this is going. He also says that Kidman will be joining Paul Orndorff at the hospital. Cool. Like, comments like that make me hope this wasn't real, but then again, that's kind of tasteless if it wasn't.
Pal.
God dang it, pal. We don't say hospital. Who the hell calls it a hospital?
God. Weeks ago on SmackDown, Michael Cole did. That was funny.
Well, up next, it is Shane Douglas and Tori Wilson versus Billy Kidman and Medusa in a Pittsburgh Plunge Scaffold match.
Yeah. Is it really a scaffold, by the way, when it's like it's wide as hell? I'm not saying I'm more danger or anything. I'm just saying it's not really a scaffold. They just rose it up.
Well, I was going to say this. I sort of like this concept a little better than the old one because it's much wider and it like rises up on the stage.
Yeah, and you never got the feeling, oh my God, someone's going to die and fall off.
Yeah, right. They clearly had crash pads. But yeah, I don't know. I also don't think
the crash pads were not like cardboard painted to look like fake metal, though. So I got to give them that.
Right. This is like not as. I don't think this one is as high as usual scaffolds. Or I mean, maybe it is, but this is honestly one of the best scaffold matches I've ever seen. But that's very faint praise because scaffold matches suck. So you and I have talked about they all suck, every single one of them. But Medusa gets up on the other side, but hesitates to get down because see, the way to win is to walk to the other side and climb down the ladder, and then you win. Cool. But she's hesitant to get down and leave Billy all alone. Finally, Douglas kicks her off the ladder. Bro, abuse her, bro. And
had to be Shane, by the way. Couldn't be Tori.
Yep. And she fell straight back onto a platform that didn't give much. Tori later low blows Kidman, and then Douglas tosses him off through another platform. He and Tori then climb down and win. Uncle Dave gave this -1 star. I give it dose. What say you?
It's a scaffold match, so I give it 1.
I give it 2 just because I was grading on it being a scaffold match. So if they would have if it was just like Shane Douglas versus Billy Kidman, or if they would have put like actual wrestlers as their tag team partners, like I think it would have been better. They could have done, moves and such. I mean, like Billy Kidman was hitting actual like wrestling moves and crap up there, so I liked the wider platform that they were on. But I don't know. I've never liked the concept of a scaffold match. I think it's dumb. But backstage, Mean Gene is standing by with Sting. Sting says that he goes way back with Muta and Vampiro with violent matches. But tomorrow night, he'll show up on Nitro and win the world title from either Kevin Nash or Booker T.
So this is when I point out this is the second time at a WarGames Sting has a guaranteed match the next night on Nitro. It's also a WarGames 98, now in the archives.
Yeah. Or, well, yeah.
Why would you want to burn a world title match with Sting on your main card, or your pay-per-view card?
Oh, of course, yeah. You got to have this. But, yeah, this is the first fall brawl in forever that doesn't have a WarGames, by the way. Just if anybody's wondering if it's coming up.
It's actually the second one, I believe. 99 didn't have one either.
Really?
I don't think 99 had one. No, I think that was Sting and Hogan.
Huh. Yeah, how about that?
There is a cage match on this card, by the way.
I know. But he gets jumped from behind by Jeff Jarrett, who Okerlund calls a crazy bastard. Jarrett says he is going to get the world title shot on Nitro, not Sting. Yeah.
There's this funny-ass clip I got to find. It's this guy reviews old TNA stuff, and every time Jarrett comes on screen, he goes, a wild slapman appears. And then it's like a scene out of the Pokemon Game Boy games.
Yeah.
I got to try to find the clip and send it to you so you can play it when he does. It just says a wild slapnut appears.
Good Lord. They're all slap nuts. We now have footage from earlier in the day where Mike Tenay went to David Flair's house.
Oh, yeah.
David is clearly paranoid, asking if Mike is alone. Once in the house, we see David Flair's living like a damn slob. When David asks...
you look like someone who just recently got divorced.
Yeah, when David asks if Tenay wants to sit, he says he prefers to stand. Pick the cleanest dirty chair.
First.
Yeah, this is like the epitome of like a bachelor pad, but or like a bachelor apartment, whatever. You have a futon, a small coffee table with an ashtray on it, and I couldn't see, but he probably had like a small TV. Like somebody said, show that.
Yeah, I imagine you had a TV with a built-in VCR.
Yeah, right. Somebody said something before about they posted a picture and they were like, young, like 20-something-year-old guys, their apartments look like this, and it was just like a TV sitting on top of some like egg crates and like a gaming chair. And somebody else, like another guy, replied, was like, "I see nothing wrong with this."
It's true.
Yep. But anyway, David is jumpy and freaking out as Mike Tenay asks David how he feels now that Miss Hancock left him and David isn't the father of her baby. David randomly jumps up and goes outside and attacks the mailman, locking him in the figure 4 on his lawn while asking if he's the father. I read reports about this segment before. I never actually seen it till now.
It reminds me of that. Remember, you used to talk about Eric Watts. Didn't he do a figure 4 to Arn in the gas station or something?
Yeah, he locked in the STF in a gas station parking lot.
It's the perfect compliment to
it. Good Lord. At least that was like two wrestlers getting into a brawl. Freaking David Flair walks out. "Are you the father?" Freaking clotheslines a mailman and locks him in the figure 4. What the F, man?
Oh, one of my notes I forgot to mention. When he kept going to the window and looking out, it reminded me of Herb Abrams in Dark Side of the Ring. Remember? It's like, goes to the people. You hear them? They're coming. Do you hear them? They're coming. They're coming. Like,
they want to take my yellow cowboy boots. The only thing I got to say about this is,
what the fuck?
Oh, man. Well, I may have hit that a little too soon, too, because up next, it is Vampiro with the Insane Clown Posse taking on the Great Muta and Sting in a triple threat match. It goes for 5 minutes, 12 seconds. 4 minutes too long. I like all three of these guys. This match did not showcase that any of them could do anything.
It made no sense because, I mean, obviously there's some story to it, but why are Vampiro and Muta opposing sides? Aren't they together?
I don't know. Well, from Jump Street, Violent J and Shaggy Two Dope of the Insane Clown Posse are on commentary for this match with Mark Madden. This is my hell. They spent the whole match putting over Vampiro and Muta while making fun of Sting, calling him Stink and Stank.
Well, they also were putting over, what's the name of their wrestling organization?
Well, yeah, I'll get to that here in a second. They were also coming up with fake names for wrestling moves that were just dumb. Muta and Vampiro and Muta double team Sting most of the match, while ICP claims that this is JCW live on pay-per-view. JCW, for people that don't know, is Juggalo Champion Shit Wrestling.
Real name.
I'm not saying that as an insult. That is what it was called. And they allowed Vampiro to bring the JCW title to the ring.
That title looked familiar, by the way.
Yeah, that doesn't look like the winged eagle belt on an orange strap or anything. But in the end, Vamp and Muta start fighting over who will get the pin. ICP gets between them. Sting attacks everyone with his baseball bat and says, F it. Drops Muta with a scorpion death drop and wins. Uncle Dave gave this a dud. I gave it 1 star. Say you.
Yeah, me too. This is terrible.
Yeah.
And then the end confused the hell out of me even more. Well, what you're about to say, probably, but.
Yeah. Well, Vampiro drops Muta when Shaggy 2-Dope goes up for a top rope leg drop, but Sting pulls Muta to safety before leaving, and Muta looks conflicted.
What the fuck?
Oh, man. What the, why? Did this go anywhere?
I don't remember. I don't think so.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and assume that Vampiro cost Sting his title match the next night.
Probably. Don't they just kind of drop that feud after a while and pretend it never happened?
You got to give him credit for that.
Yeah, right. Well, because, I think you said something about Sting came out, cut a promo on somebody. It was like, Vampiro will save the mind games for later, some crap.
I think that was before this.
Oh, so they started it back up then.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, why wasn't it Sting versus Vampiro at the last Nitro, man? That God. I want to end WCW.
I didn't think Vampiro was there at the last Nitro.
Yeah, he was like, I'm going back to Mexico. Peace out, y'all. But up next, Pamela Paulshock approaches Mike Awesome's 70s bus and gets propositioned by Mike. For those that don't know, look, I'm going to make some references in this segment, and, well, WCW made some references in this segment that you might have to Google, okay? He's driving, like, the Partridge Family bus. Go Google that. And he's got his hair, like, coiffed, and he's wearing, like, the old 70s leisure suit and crap. And
yeah, he almost looked like a really roided out Michael Kelso.
Yeah, or if anybody watches American Hustle, the way that he doesn't have the same figure, but the way that Christian Bale's character was dressed in the movie, kind of like that. But he's Gary Coleman effing walks out of the bus. Like, what the fuck? And then Mike says, oh, he's one of my favorite actors from the 70s. And Coleman says, well, I was a star in the 80s. And he's like, whatever. None of this even makes sense.
Now they're stepping on their own BS. I like that.
Right. Well, he says he wants Coleman to say his famous line, but Gary says, I don't do that anymore. Pamela's confused, per our usual agreement, and says, what you talking about? And Mike gets all happy. He's like, yeah! And then he walks away. And Gary says, I'm very sad that you said that. Oh, my God. This was effing... Oh, it was, like, so dumb. It was kind of funny. But just, like, why? We know Mike Awesome is good. Why did they do this?
Well, someone said something about him being like a distant cousin of Hogan's. This is punishment for Bash to the Beach 2000. I can't confirm that.
Wasn't he getting punished before all of that? He was Fat Chick Thrilla and everything else. Well, you know why this is happening, Greg? Because
Me, right?
Yep.
but before the next match, Jeff Jarrett comes to the ring and points out that he's wearing a jersey of a real football team, the Tennessee Titans. That aged like milk. He goes on about...
I found it. Hold on. There it is.
Consider about joining the group. Then some music hits. A wild slapnuts appears. Jeff Jarrett.
I don't know why that pops me.
What was that from?
This is a guy that does reviews on YouTube.
Oh my gosh, a wild slapnut appears.
And then it's like a parody of Pokemon on Game Boy.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's like that one where they're like, guess that Pokemon. They're like, who's that Pokemon? And then like it's Vince McMahon. He's like, it's me, Austin.
It's me all out.
God dang it, pal. But anyway, Jarrett goes on about how the Bills lost to them in the playoffs last year, and he cuts the promo against the Buffalo Bills football players in the front row. Cool. Jarrett then calls out Mike Awesome, saying that he's going to kill his career, because you see, Mike Awesome was not just the fat chick Thrilla. He was not just that 70s guy. He was also the career killer. Ironic name, but right?
Never forget when he threw Canyon off the cage and started all right.
Yeah, and then he starts doing like ambulance matches every week.
Yep. One of them was against the very team that was just on commentary.
Yeah, that was his gimmick, and then the Wall would do tables matches every week. Yeah. But well, isn't the career killer the career killer, isn't that kind of an ironic name for Mike Awesome at this time? Considering his career's dead in the water.
Yeah, well, a little bit.
But man, how many nicknames can you throw on a guy that's like meaningless right now? But
that dead horse.
Now it is Jeff Jarrett versus Mike Awesome in another freaking gimmick match. It's a bunkhouse brawl. It goes for 9 minutes.
So, for those who don't know, this is just a new DQ match.
Yep, another one. They use every weapon in the book. Finally, Jarrett eggs on the Buffalo Bills too much, and they all jump the railing and surround the ring, because, you know, you can do that without security getting involved.
Well, they do.
Well, I mean, considering they jumped the railing and nothing really happens, I'm going to assume that maybe I was wrong this whole time, and maybe you can fuck with Doug Dillinger. Involving Mike Awesome, which was the start of this whole thing. But anyway, Jeff gets into a shoving match with them, basically all of them, until Mike Awesome hits a sit-out Awesome Bomb for a near fall. Because
it's the same thing in TNA, if you think about it. Like one of the very first episodes.
Yep. Well, he had to kick out of the sit-out powerbomb after this thing, Greg, because more moves must be done. And now Jarrett grabs a guitar, and Gary Coleman runs out to the ring. Yeah. And repeatedly knees Jeff Jarrett in the taint.
Real sentence,
oh,
folks.
My God.
I'm just saying this for fun.
Man. I guess I can hit it again.
What the fuck?
I never thought I would say
Gary the Tank Kicker Coleman.
hey, on a WCW show, pay-per-view even, Gary Coleman repeatedly knees Jeff Jarrett in the taint. Good Lord.
Real sentence.
Jeff Jarrett did the dumbest crap in WCW. There was this. There's him El Kabonging Beetlejuice from the Howard Stern Whack Pack.
Well, he doesn't like black little people, huh?
I guess not. If you're short and black, you better watch your ass around Jeff Jarrett. He's racist and sizist. I'm just kidding, by the way. I don't want a wild slap nuts to appear in my bedroom and El Kabong me. Because he'll just.
Of course, I got slap nuts in my bedroom all the time. Anyways.
Good Lord. But after the taint kneeing, Coleman celebrates for about 2 years.
I think we just invented a move here on the pod, folks. The taint.
Coleman celebrates for about 2 effing years until Jeff Jarrett gets up and El Kabongs him. What did he think? He was dead? He was just going to lay there for all eternity?
Did you catch the big gaff, by the way? It's one of the most famous gaffs in wrestling history.
No, what?
Coleman's hat falls off first, and the padding falls out. He has to pick it up and put it back in.
Yeah. Oh, you can't take a gimmicked guitar, huh, Gary? Well, when Jeff goes for the stroke on Mike Awesome, Sting runs out, and he hits a Scorpion Death Drop on Jarrett and leaves, while Mike Awesome gets the pinfall win. This was so damn overbooked. Uncle Dave gave it 3 stars. I gave it 1.5 stars. What say you?
I gave it 2.
It was... Dude, how many people do you need involved in one match?
Well, you have to have the little person, the entire Buffalo Bills starting defense, Sting.
This is like that. You remember that episode of South Park where they were trying to? I think it was like 2 or 3 episodes actually. Where it was like the hunt for Cartman's dad, and it just keeps like more and more people. And they were like, and the entire 1989 Buffalo Bills, or not Buffalo Bills, Denver Broncos. It was just like.
Was that the year they lost the Niners? Why would you use a losing team?
I don't know if it was them, but that's just the first one I could think of. But dude, it's just like it just kept getting more absurd. It's like Mike Awesome had the help of a former child actor, Sting, and the entire Buffalo Bills starting line. God dang. Jarrett, I felt bad for Jarrett in this situation. He just had a stupid guitar.
All for the wild slap nut.
Yeah. He only had his stupid little guitar, which, you know, as we all know, he broke 1,000 of them and
never drew a dime.
Thank you, Mike. Anyway.
We honor the dead even on this podcast. So there you go.
Yep. Well, we honor some of the dead. Some of the dead we still, it's like, you were an asshole. Anyway. But I kid, sort of.
I didn't say it.
But backstage, Mean Gene Okerlund is standing by with Scott Steiner. Steiner does his same old routine, says all of his catchphrases and blah, blah, blah. But he does say...
you can understand a couple of them, too.
Yeah, right? They took our germs. No, something like that, right?
Go blue!
That was all Rick Steiner's promos, and then it just kind of rubbed off. Because Scott used to, you'd be able to hear him, like, or understand him once in a while. And Scott would be like, well, you know, and he'd say something stupid, but, you know, at least you could hear him.
Well, and then really Rick, right? Wasn't his hand? His talking hand?
You would go to Rick, and Rick did have the talking hand for a little bit, but you would go to Rick, and then all he would say, it's like, are you having a stroke live on camera? What the fuck? That reminds me.
They were 2-time All-Americans wrestling, not academics. So I'll point that out.
Didn't Rick get his degree in education?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure he did, because I think he's a school teacher.
So they just hand him out there, huh?
Well, it is Michigan. I didn't say it. Or yeah, I did. Or no, I'm sorry, you didn't say it.
Oh, I would never go blue.
Well, eat ass on that one. But
it'd be Bailey's?
No. Like I said before, it's Abyss.
Good Lord.
The only thing I can think of during a Rick Steiner promo back in the day, or even this Scott Steiner promo, is this.
Gentlemen, what brings me to my next point. Don't smoke crack.
Choice is bad. Okay.
Yeah, don't do drugs. Drugs are bad. Okay.
Why the hell was that Garrison and Jerry Jarrett mixed into one?
Drugs are bad. Okay. That's the talk he had with Jeff back in the day. But anyway, Scott does say that he beat down Goldberg on Thunder to the point where Goldberg was just barely alive, so that he could survive, so Scott could destroy him here tonight on pay-per-view. Live in Buffalo, New York. Can't see it, but I'm doing the thumb. Anyway, up next, it is Scott Steiner versus Goldberg in a no disqualification match. You know, something tells me we
Jews.
What the fuck? Oh man, that's a Jewish guy versus the German dude. That's not good.
It's the second Herb Abrams thing I got in on this show. I don't like that.
This is an ODQ match. Goes 14, just shy of 14 minutes. Something tells me we've seen no disqualification matches many times already so far. You know what? I don't know. I'm crazy. I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so Scott Steiner is wearing a black face protector. Why? I don't know. But Goldberg is friendly with the football players in the front row. Madeja now comes out with a giant lead pipe partway through the match. Cool. So we know where this is going already. By the way, how big? Like, it looks like he took
I saw
half
them
the
too. They
damn
were
pipe.
big. Oh.
Wow.
So I was
Looks
thinking
like
something else.
It looks like he has like the whole pipe that runs from your house to the sewer. That's about the size of this damn pipe. Like, why, man?
Oh, because Goldberg's a large man. He had a big pipe.
I guess so. Hey, never doubt Scott Steiner's ability to lay the pipe. His pipe game proper, okay? But Goldberg gets busted open. Shocker. Scott gets the pipe from Madeja and then gets speared. Shits his pants. No, I'm kidding. I made that up. But, well, maybe. But Vince Russo now runs out. We talked about this earlier. And he's wearing a Jeff Jarrett Slapnuts shirt.
A wild slap that appears.
Now that is a Slapnuts. And he beats Goldberg up with a black baseball bat. You know, Sting's gimmick. But this is not the end, though, because more moves must be done, Greg.
Yeah.
A table's legs break outside of the ring, but Steiner still puts Goldberg through it. Every match must have a table spot. In the ring, Goldberg breaks the Steiner recliner. When Goldberg is on the top rope, Madeja uses the lead pipe on him, while Russo
in the weakest swing I've ever seen in my life, by the way.
Yeah, right. While Russo's hitting him with a baseball bat at the same damn time. A super belly-to-belly suplex off the top rope doesn't end him, though. And he breaks yet another Steiner recliner because more moves must be done. Goldberg goes to... But this was the start. Like, before Brock Lesnar ever did this kind of crap, Goldberg's doing it right here, y'all. He was the originator. Goldberg goes to choke Russo, but Steiner beats Goldberg down and knocks him out with the lead pipe. He then makes Goldberg pass out to the recliner to win. This started good, in my opinion, when they were actually wrestling with no weapons. And then it
started off good, yeah.
Yeah. And then it just quickly went downhill as soon as Madeja came out there. I mean, the aesthetics around...
Normally, that'd be a good thing, but...
Yeah, I mean, she upped the aesthetics, but other than that, in the ring, crap. Dude, before I tell you, I'm going to give you a chance to guess the rating Uncle Dave gave this.
3 1/4.
4 1/4 stars.
Holy crap.
Yeah. I gave it.
Oh my God.
I gave it 2.5 for average. Because like I said, it started great.
I give it 2.
Went crap. Yeah, 2 to 3. I would accept a 3. Like, I could see somebody thinking 3. That's why I said 2.5. But God, 4.5 stars? What did he see here? I want to know.
That's a star per Steiner recliner. That's what that was.
Man.
Did you notice that Vince Russo was on the outside telling the Bills players to suck it?
Yeah.
He's doing the old DS cross chop. So you know what he's doing. He's reminding us of something.
So we remind everybody that the big star is on the other channel.
I just like Vince Russo always has to be in the limelight. Always. Dude, nobody cares about you, bro. Like, I'm not saying that in like, well, nobody on this earth gives a crap about Vince. I'm not saying it like that. I'm saying nobody wants to see you on TV. Like, get the F out.
This isn't even your part of New York either.
Yeah, right. He remember when he said Buffalo is pretty much Iowa or whatever the F, which isn't anywhere close to them. But after the match, we're graced with seeing a shirtless, posing Vince Russo as the Buffalo Bills check on Goldberg. The backstage, Pamela Paulshock is standing by with Booker T. Booker says that they're going to have to kill him to stop him from winning the WCW title tonight. And this was during the era where he changed his catchphrase to "Don't hate the player, hate the game."
See, I kept thinking that was like, I don't know, to this day I don't know, but I kept thinking it was like some kind of shot at Triple H.
Maybe. I could see that now. I didn't think about it until you brought it up, but it could have been.
Catalyst WrestleMania 19 now. Now we know.
Yeah, right. Hey, knowing the maturity level and the track record of Vince Russo, that's very possible. I will say, I think Kyle from Apron Bump, I think, was the one who said this. It might have been somebody else, but I'll attribute it to him. Where he was talking about, you go back and you remember things being better or worse than they were, and then you go back and watch it, and it's like, it wasn't that bad. He's like, I thought that, and I went back and he said I watched the build-up and the match to the Triple H Booker T feud going to WrestleMania 19. He was like, or 18, right? Is it 18, 19? 19. And he's like, nope, that was just as bad as I remember. That sucked. Like, it wasn't great. I will say I think the match was okay. I just thought the finish was kind of...
Up until the end, yeah.
Yeah. Like, dude, you pedigreed him out of nowhere, then, like, sat around for 5 minutes, had tea, and they're like, oh, I guess I should pin him now.
Had tea, let it process, took your piss, and then do it.
Yeah. Buried, man. But anyway, that brings us to our second to last break before the main event. We're going to the main event right after this break right here.
Follow the Main Event Marks at facebook.com/Main Event Marks Pod, on Twitter at Main Event _Marks, and on Instagram at Main Event _Marks and at Main Event Collector.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. My name is Thomas, and what's your name?
I'm Alan. Yeah. We're brothers.
That's right.
Yeah. Same mother and father.
Your room was...
we shared a room.
Shared a room?
We shared a room.
Thought I knew your face.
Yeah, we go way back, mate. Yeah.
We should do a podcast then.
We have.
We do a podcast?
We do a podcast.
What's it called?
The Broadcast. Yeah, that was planned.
Yeah, well.
What do we do?
Well, we cover all different things in the world of pop culture. We're talking about comic books, we're talking about professional wrestling, and we're talking about movies. Go back and watch classic retro wrestling events, the likes of WWE, WCW, and if you do like that, you can check us out on Apple iTunes, also on Podbean, Anchor, and on Podknife. Also check us out on Twitter at The Broadcast. That's BROKAST. I nearly stuffed up the ending.
No, it's all right. Good on you.
Yeah. Instagram also at The Broadcast Podcast.
Remember, we don't spell it with a C. We spell it with a K.
Sorry, mate.
Take it easy.
The Main Event Marks are available wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube. Find all of our links on our link tree at linktr.ee/Main Event Marks.
And we're back.
We're back.
This is the main event. It's Kevin Nash defending the WCW World Heavyweight title against Booker T in 9 minutes. Yes, all right, and it is a caged heat match, by the way.
Yeah, I want to point out, by the way, during the pay-per-view where they're supposed to have WarGames, but it's still going to have a cage match.
Right. But I do want to point this out. It's literally just a cage match. I thought caged heat, there was a roof.
I don't freaking know.
Yeah, there's no roof. It's just a cyclone cage attached to the ring apron. Why didn't they just call it a cage match? Everything's got to have a stupid gimmicked up name. Freaking idiots.
Yeah, at least could have had some fire or something on the outside.
Yeah.
Not that would have been good, but where the hell's the heat coming from?
And what was the point of the cage? Just because?
This is Fall Brawl, they need a cage. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like cage matches are supposed to mean something like, oh, there's interference or somebody keeps running or something. Nope, just, you know what? We felt like doing it in the cage. Cool. But Nash gets busted open, bleeds quite a bit. In the end, Nash goes for the jackknife, Booker lands on his feet, hits the bookend, and wins the world title. This was probably the most straightforward match of the entire night. Uncle Dave gave it a 1.5. I gave it dose. It was fairly meh. What say you?
I gave it 2.
Mid!
Also, did you catch that it was over before you knew it? Like the ending just came out of nowhere.
It was like 9 minutes long. A 9-minute long cage match main event for the world title. Like,
there were other matches on here that got 15, 20 minutes?
Yeah. That didn't effing need it. Oh, well, we got to book more bullshit. This one, the straightforward world title cage match, that one's it's gotta be short. The hell ever, man. But Booker T celebrates the WCW title win to close the show. And that's it. Cool. We're going to take our next break. On the other end of this, we're getting into the final ratings and telling you what's coming up next month on the podcast.
Follow the Main Event Marks at facebook.com/Main Event Marks Pod, on Twitter at Main Event _Marks, and on Instagram at Main Event _Marks and at Main Event Collector.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ryan McCarthy, and I'm the host of the No Credentials Required podcast. Start your work week with the Monday Drop-In, where I talk about the sports beat in the Capital District, also known as the Mighty 518, as well as Metro New York sports from an upstate point of view. I also give a life lesson from a weekly sports story, so you might learn something from that. I also have a midweek podcast where I interview different sports personalities and talk about a wide array of topics. Take a listen and subscribe on your preferred podcast app, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. Also check out our social media channels on Twitter and Instagram, BellyUpNCR, and Facebook.com/BellyUpSportsNCR. We're a part of the Belly Up Sports Podcast Network in association with Godzilla Media. No credentials required, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports.
Hey gang, it's Commissioner Cooper of TSS Fantasy. We are the fantasy show of the people. Expert fantasy advice, free contests, leading expert medical and legal analysis, and most importantly, you. Interact with us on all social media platforms or check us out at tssfantasy.com. You can hear us on Spotify, Apple and Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and many more. Check out the fun today and be a part of the most interactive fantasy show around. TSS Fantasy, the fantasy show of the people.
Main Event Marks are available wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube. Find all of our links on our link tree at linktr.ee/Main Event Marks.
And we're back.
And we're back.
Final ratings time here. Internet Movie Database gives this 5.7 out of 10. CageMatch.net gives it 5.03 out of 10. I give it a 6 out of 10 for, I don't know, D-. What say you?
Yeah, D-.
It's better than the F that we usually give it. So
the Queewee match was the best match. So what's that?
Again.
And there's something about that guy, man. He's just good.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he for people that don't know, he also had the best match at Greed. If you guys want to go check that out.
He was the last person in history to ever jerk the curtain. Jacob Grundy should cover that and do it in long form.
Yeah, right. Grundy should have a whole match just reviewing Johnny B. Bad matches.
Brought that up to him with no follow-up, but he did acknowledge it.
Yeah. Get on it, man. What are you waiting on? Damn. But anyway, that does it for today's show, though. And it does it for the month. September's over, man. Crazy. But next month, let's quickly run down some of these shows you can expect to see here. There is, on October 4th, our first show of the month. It is WCW Halloween Havoc 1990. This is the second ever Halloween Havoc. The main event is Sting defending the NWA title against Sid Vicious. Lex Luger also defends the NWA United States title against Stan Hansen. And Doom defends tag title. Doom defends the World Tag Titles against Ric Flair and Arn Anderson. And the Steiner brothers
championships of the world.
Exactly. And the Steiner brothers defend the United States titles against the Nasty Boys.
Sign my ass up.
Hell yeah. There are a bunch of other matches on this card as well. There you go. Halloween Havoc 1990. Terror Rules the Ring. Took place in Chicago, Illinois. Yeah. But also, October 11th, we're finally going to do it. It's WWF Bad Blood. In your house, actually, from October 11th. That is our show on October 11th. This took place October 5th, 1997. Obviously, the main event is the very first ever Hell in a Cell, the debut of Kane. It's
That's not going to go anywhere.
Oh, well, it's absolutely not. Also, Bret Hart and British Bulldog take on the Patriot and Vader in a tag team flag match. Cool. We get an 8-man tag match of the DOA versus Los Boricuas.
And yes, that is as bad as it sounds.
Yeah. But hey, at least we get the Headbangers defending the tag titles against the Godwins. I mean, that's going to make the whole thing, right? No?
You know, that's two different kind of white stereotypes right there. You got to love that.
Yeah, right. And we get the Minis match. We get Max Mini and Nova taking on Mosaic and Tarantula.
Play the clip. Play the clip.
Shut up and take my money.
Well, I can also say,
who are all these fucking people?
Yeah, that plays. And you know, ironically, he probably had him in the show.
Yeah, he's definitely there. I know that. October 18th, it is double main event week. We're bringing you Bound for Glory 2013. And this one, the main event is Bully Ray defending
got some crap from a friend for you picking that, by the way.
Why is that? They don't give a crap about it?
Yep.
Well, you know what? Bully Ray is the world champion in the main event, damn it.
And that is the nucleus of the crap that I got.
Well, hell yeah, man. Come on, it's him versus AJ Styles, world title, almost 30 minutes. Let's effing LFG. Come on.
Oh, I'm down. Yeah, it was a banger.
Bobby Roode also takes on Kurt Angle.
As in, I banged my head against the wall for it to be over.
Wow. Bobby Roode takes on Kurt Angle. That legitimately might be a great match. Magnus and Sting go at it.
That's pretty decent.
ODB defends the Knockouts title against Brooke and Gail Kim. We get an Ultimate X match. It looks pretty interesting. Jeff Hardy's actually in an Ultimate X match. How about that? But yeah, anyway, that is coming up October 18th. The bonus show is Ring of Honor's Undeniable from 2007, where Nigel McGuinness wins the world. Sorry for the spoiler from, almost 20 years ago. But Nigel McGuinness wins the world title from Takeshi Morishima. And
his reign of terror.
Yeah, Takeshi Morishima is pretty much the Japanese Samoa Joe, I would say.
I thought that was Ishii.
No, not quite. But
he's just a Japanese baked potato. Got it.
Yeah, something like that.
Not a Japanese Samoa Joe. Okay.
Right. But that's coming up for the October bonus, going back to 2007. And finally, to close out the month right before Halloween, October 25th, we're bringing you WCW Halloween Havoc 1998. The night when good battles evil.
Worst match in history, and the main event gets cut off because they went overtime.
Yeah. Man, you want to talk about people getting screwed by crap going over.
Can you imagine I was sitting that Hogan Warrior match and we're going to get a great one to end the show. Nope. We're just going to end the show.
Nope. Fuck you. That's coming up October 25th to close out the month of October. So we're bringing you 2 Halloween Havocs, Bad Blood, Bound for Glory, and some Ring of Honor. a little bit of a variety sprinkled in there, y'all.
No ECW.
Yeah, no, we're not covering ECW again until November, right before Turkey Day. So, fun to that.
You are welcome.
Oh yeah. But thank you for joining me today, Greg.
Thanks for doing this to me.
Oh, you're welcome. And we will see you all next week. Next month, actually, when we bring you Halloween Havoc 1990.